Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 54 of Guitar Practice.
54.
Yeah. As far as announcements, we don't really have much, at least for April. This is a couple days prior to April 1st. Obviously, we record previously to the day it releases because that'd be ridiculous. But as far as right now today, I think all I have is our friends in Bison are playing a show April 5th at the Opolis in Norman. I haven't been there. I haven't been to that venue.
Sick.
Go there. It's going to be sick.
Yeah.
I believe there's a couple shows booked in April, but I'll get the details and we'll get them to you on Facebook, Instagram, and X, which, by the way, Elon sold to himself for like $33 billion.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Huh.
He sold X to his AI program.
Nice.
Couldn't tell you why.
Rich people doing rich people things, dog.
Yeah, I think it's like, I don't know, taxes or like something to do with like profit and loss to where, does it fucking affect us? No.
No.
Does X still make you pay to type more words? Yes. Do I like Teslas? Yeah, they seem kind of cool. Would I buy a truck these days? No, because people seem to be spraying Nazi signs with spray paint on the side of them and defiling these trucks that kind of remind me of Halo, to be honest. That's why I like them.
True. Alrighty. Well, we got...
Anyway, yeah, Facebook.
Yeah, send us your
Instagram,
flyers, guys.
X. Send us the flyers, dude.
Yeah, we'll put them out for you.
Help
We'll
us help you.
Help us
Okay?
help you.
You want to save 15% on marketing?
On car
Send
insurance?
us your flyers. That's it.
Alrighty. Well, we got Tyler here from Entropic with us, hanging out
do.
today.
Hello.
Hello.
And we're super stoked. We've had a busy fucking weekend, let me tell you guys.
Long weekend. We're just trying to better this whole show.
Long, busy weekend. And I think the weekend for me started last week.
Last Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thursday. So I got to go to a bunch of shows. Got to meet a bunch of cool people. I got to do a bunch of cool stuff in the studio, and we'll get into that later. But first, I think it's time to
Yeah.
make the phone call.
I think it's time. We're gonna give King Bobby a call, and him and Tyler's gonna talk to us about their new stuff they got going
We're
on.
probably going to argue and talk shit, but
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
can see
Oh,
through
most
that,
definitely.
if you can read between the lines,
There's some big news.
some big news and some big accomplishments and some serious movement forward. And yeah. Also, we're not holding a cell phone to a microphone now, so
Yeah, we're trying our best to make some changes here, so I may have to. Here we go.
we may have to cut this dead air,
Yeah, we'll see.
or we can leave it in, and it doesn't matter.
Hello.
Hello.
There he is. What's up, Bobby?
What's up, dudes?
Man, we are fucking live, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
live.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got Tyler in the room with us and got you on the line here. Let's see. We want to talk about what you guys got going on. Yeah.
Well, first, a matter of business first, boys. Let's get the tips done.
Okay.
Because I got some good ones.
Okay. Yeah. Let's run some tips, brother. What you got?
Get that out of the way. First things first, dude. Band called Voidrium.
Can you spell that real quick?
Void, R-I-U-M. But, dude, they just opened up for Belphegor in Texas, I think.
Oh, yeah?
And they're pretty sweet, dude.
Voidrium.
Yeah, I guess. I think it was Hate. The band couldn't get their visas. So they've been getting a lot of local flavor on the tour so far and filling in that spot.
God damn. Do you got an album from them, or
Yeah, they got one album out, and then they got a split.
what's that? What's a split?
We're like a band, two bands put on the same album. They both do half an album.
Oh shit! Okay, who are they
yeah.
split with?
I can't read the logo. I'm looking at the album cover. 1 second.
See, guys, in metal bands, let me tell you, that's a tough hill to climb when you make when you make a logo that nobody can read. It's a tough hill to climb. I do love the gory details. I love the artwork. Don't get me wrong. But as far as marketing your name, sometimes it's beyond difficult to find you on Spotify with just a sweet logo. I'm just saying.
You got to talk into that.
Yeah, but if you can read it, then you're not Cavolt.
What?
What?
Exactly.
Perfect. All right.
I guess I'm a fucking poser now.
You're just a poser, dude.
Voidrium. And you said they had.
But the split is with Cassis Belli. I hope I pronounced that right. I doubt I did.
Okay.
But it's called Imperial Black Metal Diarchy.
Sounds great.
Did you hear Tyler?
They're a solo album by themselves, though. Insanus Dies Imperator.
There's a lot of Latin flavor in there. Insanus. Insanus what?
Insanus Dies Imperator.
Hell yeah.
It sounds like some shit from like New Vegas or something.
From New Vegas.
It sounds like Warhammer, really.
I guess I'm showing my age there. If you don't play Fallout New Vegas, then fuck you.
Dude, I like 4.
Fallout 4 was good. I liked 3, though, the most, I think.
3's a classic.
Dude, 3
No
is
hate.
dope.
classic,
Yeah,
yeah.
3's dope. But 4 is when you could build like your own bases and shit, right?
Yeah. You could do a little in New Vegas, right? All right.
What do you got for the
Moving
second
on.
tip?
Sacred Origin.
Sacred Origin. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Chris from Rotten Aura turned me on to these dudes.
All right.
I guess they played a lot of shows with them back in Cali, but they're more of a death metal flavor, but they fucking rip.
Hell yeah.
There's nothing wrong
They
with
got-
death metal.
They got one album out, From Obscurity.
From
And then
Obscurity.
they got an
Okay.
EP from 21, Death Sentence. But I enjoyed them quite a bit.
All right. All righty. We're getting those wrote down here. Those are going to be on the Bobby's Tip playlist. We'll check them out off air, listen to them, see what we think. Give our honest reviews. We'll make Tyler listen to the black metal up. We'll tape his face to the speaker while the black metal plays.
I'm warming up to the black metal. I'm warming up to it. Some things are a little too far out. Silencer being one of them. But
Silencer was a lot.
Bobby, I wanted to talk to you about this. I found this. So you know how Nuclear Blast Records has a live radio station on YouTube where it's just a mix of all their artists?
I didn't know this, but I'm intrigued.
You should look it up. Nuclear Blast is a pretty good channel. It's all the Nuclear Blast artists. Just like on an old school random radio station, they have all their music videos up there. You know, they got like Cattle Decap and all the big names. But they also have like the new bands up and coming and stuff, and they play all that. So I kind of delved into the YouTube radio station, live radio station, rabbit hole. And I found this radio station from this label in Russia called Solitude Records.
Ooh.
And
Ooh. Good
I think you'd be interested. You should look up. You should look them up. Some of their stuff is really, really kind of like room music, like not more like aura. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily
Ambient.
Yeah, ambient. That's a good word for it. A lot of their records are like real ambient black metal kind of style.
Dude, so I like ESBM, so it might be up my alley.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, Solitude Records. I found them on YouTube. They don't have a whole lot of followers, but they sell like wax records and everything. But they sell them in the Russian money, and they're like I think they're like $7 in US. But
Interesting.
and it's also really funny because the advertisements are in like broken English. It's like, do you feel bad and alone? Welcome to Solitude Records. But the music itself is really good. They have like 25 artists or something. It's pretty cool. Solitude Records. Check them
Welcome
out.
solitude to you.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I thought you might be interested in that.
Oh yeah, you can check out Heavy Tip on the podcast.
I love that.
I got like 2 bands on there. Dude. I have not been updating it at all.
Oh man.
Should probably just phone it in and delete it. Just give up.
That was a good pull, Bob. All right, man.
So let's talk about this big announcement. What is it?
Dude, today, Florida Man, our new single is dropping on all streaming platforms. Those
Hell
of you
yeah.
who say you're fucking awesome. Those of you who didn't, you missed the fuck out.
Yeah, it's a banger.
Hell
Dude,
yeah.
it is. We're quite excited and proud of this one.
And the artwork is cool. But tell us about the lyrics. I heard you wrote the lyrics about for this song. Tell us about, maybe go into a little bit of detail about that. What drove you to write this song? What drove you to write the lyrics? This and that.
So, circa 2017, 18, somewhere in there, I read this news article on Loudwire, of all places, about Pat O'Brien, ex-Cannibal Corpse, current ex-hoarder, going fucking crazy in Florida.
Hell yeah.
I guess he caught his house on fire, and if you watch the Centuries of Torment, you know he's a big gun guy. And so he had thousands of rounds of ammunition, guns, flamethrowers up in his attic. Well, his house caught on fire. And so he runs out of the house, and I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure he went into the neighbor's house and, hid in the closet, attacked the wife, and as they're calling the cops, he runs out and then, hides in a bush where the cops find him. There's an infamous mugshot.
Is this the same guy
Sorry for bringing this up again, Pat. Please don't hate me. I'm a big fan, but...
Is this the same guy that was involved with Cancer Christ?
No.
I think so.
No, that's California. Not Florida crazy.
Hold up.
Florida is pretty nuts, though.
Oh, yes.
Let me Google this real quick. It said, what's his name? Pat O'Brien?
Yes.
We're doing some on-the-spot research.
I'm pretty sure the crazy dude from Cancer Christ's name was Anthony something.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But, yeah, but as he's running out the house, I guess ammunition is randomly firing off into the air.
I love that. Love that.
And I thought it was the most, Florida story I'd ever read. So I started writing this riff. It was pretty Cannibal Corpse, so I called it the Florida Man riff. And that evolved into the full song, and then when it came time to write lyrics, I was like, well, fuck, the riff was inspired by this, so I wrote the lyrics about that. It's pretty much, the entropic storytelling version of the events that happened.
Sick.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now,
That's why we called it Florida Man, because it's the quintessential Florida Man song. Written by guys in Kansas.
And Florida makes great death metal anyways.
that's a fact.
Yes, they do.
I've lived in Florida, and people do go hard out there. That is a fact. The people in Florida go fucking hard. Shout out to Florida.
They got the good shit.
They go fucking hard, dude. There's not a lot of rules down there. That's the thing. There's not a lot of rules.
I guess it might be a little bit of a nod to my dad, too, because where I was born, he spent 20 years down there in Miami and the Everglades and shit. And he had some wild fucking stories about what the fuck they would do down there, dude.
You can hide people in the Everglades and nobody will ever find them. That's a fact, dude.
I'm talking about shooting pigs in their backyard and fucking walking through the Everglades, bass fishing barefoot.
I love that.
That's fucking wild.
That's awesome.
So I guess it all kind of ties in a little bit here and there.
Now, I do got a question for you specifically. Is this the first song that you've written lyrics for?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I contributed quite a bit to Iconoclast. I'm not a sole lyric writer, per se.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes I barely handle the English language.
Fair.
I got a smart thought now and then. I like to contribute where I can,
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this single gets more than Iconoclast. Iconoclast got a lot.
I thought
But-
Iconoclast was a great first single.
It was a big one, dude.
It was a big one, and we got a lot of trajectory out of it. So hopefully Florida Man sends us even higher.
I'd say so. I'd be willing to bet.
Shout out to
we
Tablet.
went out a little bit on this track, too. You'll see there's a lot of different shit going on. It's pretty nice.
I'm excited to listen to it.
Yeah, it kind of shows, because it's not quite like Iconoclast, so it kind of shows the difference, like or like influential styles. Like it's different.
Yeah.
We're not sticking to one style. We just play what we want to play.
Yeah, I feel that. Well,
And Blake does it, too.
hell yeah. Well, let's bring it back to last Monday.
Yes.
Let's talk about that, because I had a fucking blast. You guys got to open up for Cavalera, the Cavalera brothers.
Yes.
Fucking surreal.
How did that feel? Surreal?
It was stressful leading up until getting to the venue. Then once we got to the venue and Cavalera was fucking sound checking, like right there. And they're like, you have to wait for Cavalera to get in sound checking. We're like, no problem.
Yeah, we get there, we unload all the gear, and we look up on the stage, and there they are, the whole band just getting ready to sound check.
Fucking cool dudes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great show. I really liked watching you guys open for those guys. And I'll tell you right now, there's a whole lot of Entropic t-shirts in the crowd.
There was. It was good. I liked also that our merch booth was like the first one when you walked in the door, because I know when doors opened at 6, I looked over and we already had a line. And I was like,
awesome.
dude, that's sick.
Yeah, that shit was awesome. You guys played great.
And then Max came up and was talking to me and Bobby, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go shit myself now.
So we have our words with him, and he walks backstage, and I look at Tyler, dude. We're like little kids who just met Babe Ruth and shit, just like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that shit was really cool.
Yeah, we're like, no pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, don't fuck it up.
I'll say 30 minutes or 40 minutes before we go on stage. No, it was earlier than that because there's 4 doors open. Igor comes walking back behind us. And I talked to him for a little bit. He was a real nice guy, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was sick. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Congratulations on the new single. We're excited to listen to it. We're going to play it here in a second. And congratulations on that show. That shit was fucking amazing. Especially opening, dude. Being the first band up seems pretty tough because you got a crowd just kind of moseying around and waiting. There's been no energy input into the show yet.
Right.
You guys got to get up there and start that fucking motor. And you guys did great.
We're
You guys
we're
looked
basically
great.
like cold starting a venue.
Yeah.
You know, like we're like the hype men kind of, I guess, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, it went good. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better thing.
No, everything we did, we got the mission accomplished. And kind of say, dude, we played a great set, but every other band that night played fucking phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fucking Doom for Death. the other Wichita boys, fucking a brother band. They brought the shit.
Yeah, they nailed it too.
That heat was hard as fuck.
Yeah, every band was good. It was a good show out for Wichita. Again.
It was.
Very sick. I'm honestly, you guys are doing awesome. It's really impressive to watch you guys work and come up the way you are coming up. This was a big show, and it sounds like you guys absolutely smashed it. I'm sad that I wasn't there in person, but
yeah, I mean that's the beginning to many, man. Everyone needs to stay tuned for 2025 and follow us because it's looking to be a banger of a year, a real busy year,
banger of a year, baby. That's what we like to hear.
Year.
Yeah, boy.
Oklahoma.
We're about to for summer. We're about to release some new merch, apparel.
Sick.
So keep your eyes out for that. We're gonna make some stuff for the ladies, so that's good.
Nice.
Finger guns.
Did you say you're coming to Oklahoma City?
Oh yeah, dude. We're basically gonna not step away from Kansas for too long, but we're gonna really start focusing on diving into Oklahoma City and
just doing a little branching out, you know?
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, moving around.
Oklahoma City, stepping stone to Dallas. You know, I think we're in some talks with some Tulsa stuff, Bobby.
Yeah.
So,
we can't say too much, but
yeah, there's some stuff in the works for that, and I know when we played the Cavaliers show, there were some conversations about Denver as well. So,
well,
that
you're
would be fucking sick, dude.
Oh,
Denver.
yeah.
Woo!
so
If you thought you were nervous then, dude, goddamn, Denver, Colorado. I know they go hard up there.
well, me and Bobby was talking. I was like, since the Cavaliers show's out of the way, like I don't know what's gonna make us nervous now. Like you just go out there and do your shit.
I mean, you already passed the fucking gulag, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we already went through the grinder.
I mean, you just opened, like, how many years has the Cavalier brothers been playing metal?
Fuck.
83 or 84.
Early 90s,
Yeah.
80s.
Like, we're talking like 40 years.
You're talking legends. I can't even put a number on it because you know, being brothers, you know, they've been jamming probably since they were like fucking 5.
Oh, dude, and watching them do sound check was one of the most surreal things ever. Especially since they were like wearing flip flops and just like fucking off, and they sounded like the fucking album. I was like, during sound check, fucking around, they sounded like the album.
We basically
And
got 2 free
flip-flops
shows.
hanging out. Yeah, dude, it was so crazy. Oh, that was
dude.
fucking
It
insane.
was sick.
Well, you heard them, Oklahoma City. Hit them up, boys. They want to come stomp on the grounds a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna since Florida Man's releasing, like and now we got some shows behind us to back us. So hopefully we won't have a lot to prove.
When's
to
your
get in
guys' next show?
May 3rd in the books right now, up here in Wichita.
Where at? What venue?
Barleycorns.
Hell yeah, dude. Barleycorn.
Nice.
Doom and Metal Fest. It's us, Imagine, Pit Hag, and Snow Child from Wichita. All cool bands, dude.
And
Hell yeah.
and also, if all goes well, we'll be debuting 2 new songs
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh,
dude.
my
at
God.
that show. So
Well, it sounds like you guys got a lot going on. You guys played a fucking amazing show. I'm super excited to listen to your single, and I don't think I want to wait any longer. You guys got anything before we play your new single?
just keep following us and buying our stuff.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, let's just keep it simple.
I like that.
If you do want to reach out for booking, hit us up on Facebook. We usually respond pretty quick.
Yeah.
If you're local to the Oklahoma area and you know Heavy and Brain, they got my number.
Absolutely. We'll be happy to hook you
Yeah,
up.
so everyone in Oklahoma, we ready.
And if you know Tyler,
Buckle up. We're coming to your city.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. Thanks, Bobby, for calling in or answering the phone when we called you. I don't know how that worked. I forgot already. But super
Thank you
stoked for
having
you.
me.
Can't wait to fucking see you again. Can't wait to see you guys play again. And we're about to play this fucking single.
All right, brother. Thanks, Bobby.
Later, boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king.
The king. We're going to listen to Florida Man. Y'all ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah. That was a fucking.
Well, there you go, world.
That's.
Thanks.
You guys packed a fuckload of fucking technique into there.
Yeah, you fucking heard on Guitar Practice first, so shout out.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Florida man from Entropic.
Go fucking listen to it now.
Fucking
What are you
sick,
doing?
dude.
Listen to it again. Listen to it 3 times.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking nasty.
Yeah.
By the way, dude.
While you're there, if you haven't heard Iconoclast on Spotify, if this is the first time you're hearing of us, check them both out.
So I was just writing notes as I was listening to it. Obviously, I've heard the song live before. It's different in studio because you can really like get all the little details of the song. You can hear all the notes of the solo. You know, sometimes in the venues, it's you know, it's a party. It's loud. Everybody's jumping up and down. You know, we're just trying to light it off and have some fun. But listening to the studio version of this gives me an entirely different understanding of what this song feels like, just because of the little details that, quite frankly, you just miss.
You miss them live.
You just miss them live.
You do.
know? And especially depending on how loud the venue is, because I don't wear earplugs. I know I should, but I drink beer. As soon as the third beer goes down, earplugs are out, and I'm trying to fucking get down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just writing notes about it because this is the first time I've heard it studio-wise
Studio
versus
quality,
live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say quality because I feel like
It's not. It's not a quality studio mastered. I guess.
Yeah.
They do things to it.
yeah, you know, like well, just different things come through live.
Yeah.
Whereas live, you get to reap, you know, the energy, you get like the feeling of the song, and then with the studio version, you get the details, the little like hidden gems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
And so I was
sure.
kind of writing notes as I was listening to it, and if I had one word to describe this track, the song, I'd probably just call it dissonant. Like the dissonance being where you think the solo or the chord set should end, it takes that and polarizes it and ends at a place that is still just as correct, but not in the place where you expected, which is kind of what makes it unique. You know what I mean? Now, death metal.
dude. Blake and Bobby are amazing writers. They are
fuck
in
off.
their own lane when it comes to writing.
But even like the top notes where the, you know, when he hits the whammy bar and hits it,
Yeah.
you think that note is going to be a step and a half above that. But it climbs almost to that, you know, boomer bend.
Yeah.
And then it shifts down into like that dissonant bend where me as a guitarist, I can definitely appreciate that because you feel the pressure of recreating a Slash solo. You feel the pressure of recreating a Dimebag solo. You feel the pressure of recreating something that I'm going to take you on a path and you know where it's going to end versus this is death metal. We're here to fuck you up. We're here to confuse you a little bit. We're here to break you out. And then ends on a different point that's just as correct, but almost more exciting because you're like, what the fuck? You're going to end on that note, but it still flows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
whoever tuned your drums, by the way, woo.
me.
Well, I'm not talking about the skin. Obviously, I'm not talking about the skin. You always sound great. Your drums always sound great. You have enough dirty pillows in the bass to make it sound really good. You know, we've talked about the dirty pillows. that
Pee-pee
you have to
pillows.
shove.
Enough piss pillows, dude.
You have to pee on the pillows before they go into the kick drum. Otherwise, what are we even
They're
doing?
not yours. You got to mark your kit.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
mark your territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the snap of the kick, did you guys use a trigger in the studio for that?
Studios on the kick, we are triggered. Only for studios. Live, you will never hear me use triggers.
Yeah, we've talked about
But
that.
studio-wise, I mean, there's a place for them. Nothing against triggers. Anyone that uses them live, that's fine.
Well, there's nothing
They're just not
wrong
for
with
me.
it, especially in like the big venues, you know, where
Well, like Cavalera, everything cut through, and I was not triggered.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm having an allergy attack live here on the fucking show.
If you could just keep it the fuck down a little bit, that'd be cool.
I'm trying, dude. It's hurting really bad.
No, like you were at the Cavalier show. That wasn't triggered. That was just
The Cavalier double bass wasn't triggered.
no. I was not triggered at Cavalier.
You weren't.
I were not. I was not. No,
I were not. Yeah.
was not.
I would not.
Were not.
trigger.
Was not.
I am.
But no,
not triggered.
I can't. I mean, that's an episode for Bobby and Blake about their writing because I can't really comment too much on it. I just know they're really good at it.
I just wrote some comments down, the things that stuck out to me in that song. Another thing that I wrote down was, I call it the stompy part.
Oh, the slam part.
The stompy part, the jing, 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 jing.
Yeah.
And you know the first thing that came to mind?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we were talking about, and I played it on the podcast, that Soylent Green riff?
Say it again.
Slap fuck. That was a
Yeah,
song.
slap fuck.
right?
Yeah.
So there was the tremolo part. This is a part that I just didn't learn. I just didn't learn. I was like, yeah, whatever, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And it was a part that was very similar, not the progression or the chords, but the overall like uncomfortable dissonant feeling of the chord progression, where it was just single hit, you know, palm muted chords.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
That's
oh shit,
sick.
I feel it.
When we
dude.
were writing
Yeah.
that song, so that was it was like one of the first 3 songs we wrote, and I remember when they showed me that riff, I was like, ooh, I got just a thing for this. Like, we're just gonna keep it fucking simple and heavy as fuck.
And dude, and it worked. Like
Yeah.
hearing that jing, 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 jing. The only thing that would have fit there. Well, okay. Listen, I'm not a pro, and we're gonna review this in 1 year, and then we're gonna
laugh
say
at
how
it.
stupid I am about music, just like we did last year.
Yeah.
But to me, that heavy jing, 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 those chugs require a double.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, that's what it needs. You know what I mean?
yeah, as a listener.
And yeah, you guys did fucking great.
Yeah, when we write stuff, I think about, you know, the parts in the song that's gonna like the crowd's really gonna fucking feel that energy and start flipping fucking tables over.
Not
And
even
that's
feel
like a
that energy.
section
Not
where
even feel that energy,
nuts.
just feel that
Yeah.
injury. Because as soon as that part happens, if you don't know where you are, you need to stay away from the middle.
dude, and right after that slammy part, we go into the blast section and Blake does that scream, and it's like,
Yeah,
buckle up, dude.
dude.
Like you're on a ride now, buddy.
Yeah. And the I don't think it. Did you guys tempo change?
Yeah, there's tempo changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those tempo changes, it's very easy just to fuck around and do a tempo change. Because I'm writing a bit of a backing track to like the announcements that we do all the time, just to liven it up a little bit. And I'm trying to do a tempo change. And what I realized is there's a way to just flat out tempo change that feels like a car wreck. And then there's a way to do a tempo change that flows into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you were saying, like you think the song is going to go this way, and then all of a sudden we drop.
But also, it's not so severe where everybody's lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's an art to it. Like, you can make it so extreme, especially if you're not a good writer like me, quote unquote, where it's so extreme that everybody stands around for a couple seconds and they're like, where do we go now? What do we do with our hands? But with the way you guys wrote this song, it flowed from high speed, high energy down into that dip, but that dip wasn't as severe as, you know, someone with inexperience would write it, to where everybody's like, what tempo are we on now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's cool for me is like hardly ever do I get a good like during practice and stuff. Like I don't hear vocals that well, and I can't really break the song down as a listener's perspective because I'm doing what I got to do.
Yeah, you got it.
So it's super cool when I listen to this stuff played back, and then I appreciate it like even more. Like holy shit, like we did that.
Yeah.
Like that sounds really good.
And then one more thing is, I'm going to go back to the first thing I said, is just the dissonant the dissonant chord sets. And maybe dissonant is the wrong term I'm using because
Probably.
I'm not traditionally trained, but and maybe it's a scale. Maybe yeah. Thanks. You're very supportive. Thank you so much. Maybe dissonant is the wrong thing I'm saying, but what I am trying to explain, what I am trying to convey is the structure of the notes and the structure of the chords moving forward brings you to a place that is unexpected and like it almost creepy. You know what I mean? Like almost like,
well, yeah, that's what it's.
the
That's
fuck? You know,
that's
what
how
I mean?
that song was wrote. I mean, if you heard Bobby's story, like that's some weird shit. That's some creepy stuff.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly what I'd be listening to if I was hiding in a closet and waiting to, you know, hang out. Just hang out with some friends in the neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, or if you're like under a blanket for 10 hours, I probably would not listen to that song.
No.
Shout out to
I
Pat.
would be
Dude.
so scared.
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. What he did was bad. Probably don't do that. But, you know.
I feel like if that song makes it big, we'll have to owe Pat O'Brien some sort of royalties.
Well, you call the Texas Hammer. That's my advice to you. Call a lawyer first.
He's like, I made you guys famous.
That's public.
Whatever, dude.
Hold up, dude. That's public
Whatever.
information. That's
It
public
is. It
information.
is.
Okay, that was
Yeah.
all on the news. You can write a song about the news. That's okay.
I will say real quick, though. Hopefully, late 2025, maybe into 2026, maybe a full-length album. People should expect. I don't know. We'll see.
Really fucking hope.
We'll see. Singles aside.
Really
But-
hope. I'm so. I'm not going to say that I've been in the industry for fucking 37 years because that'd be a lie. But there is a bit of a path that when you get together with your buddies and make a band that a lot of people take. And sometimes that path is successful. Sometimes it's not. I'm about to sneeze. Fuck. But I'll tell you. Stop. You're
Pause
gonna
your
make me
book.
sneeze again. You gotta cut all this out. This shit sucks.
Nope.
It's a raw and uncut.
A lot of times the first single is like the first like we're gonna do this kind of thing. You know, we've talked to a bunch of people in here, and you know, a lot of times the first single is
Mediocre.
just not mediocre, but just like, hey, this is solid music. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like incredibly unique, or there wasn't a lot of chances taken on it. You know what I mean?
I will say that, so Entropic's first single that they dropped, Iconoclast,
Yeah,
that one did not feel that way to me.
No, Iconoclast was a banger.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're making the same point that
Like
I'm
you
thinking.
guys are closing like Monday in front of Cavalier and Necrot, Dead Heat, and all those guys, Doomed for Death. You guys closed with your first single,
Yeah.
Which-
And that place erupted.
which, hear me out, the first single is like, you know, hey, we're so-and-so. You might have heard this song. Rip into the single. And then, you know, build from there.
No, we didn't do it that way.
That's what I'm saying. I think
We
there's
made
a little bit of
we made
spice
him
there.
wait.
Yeah, like there's a little bit of spice there with the riffs and the structure and everything.
Well, yeah, and the way we built that set for Cavalier, like it was strategic, you know?
Yeah.
And like we put Salsa the Black and Velvet in the middle, because that's kind of the starts off slow. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of like
slow.
not an interlude, but it kind of is.
That's the one that's like... Yeah,
where Bobby does his in-
Yep.
Yep. That's my daughter's favorite song, also, by the way.
Sick.
But it rushes in, though. It rushes in.
It does. So we were like, yeah, so let's end the set with Florida Man and Iconoclast, so that way we can announce, like, you know, get ready. This is our second single coming out April 1st. Da-da-da-da. So then everyone's hyped on Florida Man. They're like, oh shit, yeah. And then we're like, all right, well, here's a single that's already released. And then we just close out with Iconoclast. And that place fucking, I mean, you heard it. One more song. But we don't have no time.
guys
we would have loved
Dude,
to
get an encore.
We would have.
There
We
it
would
It's
have.
so
is.
crazy.
We would
dude.
have loved to play another song for everyone, but when you're doing shows like that, there's no time. Like you have to. It's a strict set schedule.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You've seen
So,
it.
I wanted to go into this. I didn't really talk about it with Bobby or anything because I didn't want to bust the mood up or anything or make it about me. But you guys invited me to assist with, the operation pretty much.
Yeah, you got to see the behind the scenes.
I've never been involved in any of that shit. I
do you
buy
think?
my ticket just like everybody else. I show up. I watch the show. I say that's fucking awesome. Hell yeah. I know what the gear does and stuff. But as far as like the behind the scenes inner workings, it was really cool for me individually to watch. I know how much effort it takes to play a riff live. Mm-hmm. What I didn't really know was how much effort it took to set up the gear.
There's a bunch of moving parts.
Here. We need to walk over here. We need to open this door, load in here. We need to exit this way. Like the entire, intricate dance of tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear and hours and hours of work to make obviously a set.
Yeah, a 20-minute set.
A 20-minute set plus 5 other people that need to get up there and do their stuff that they worked on and all this stuff. It was really interesting behind the scenes. And it was one of the first metal shows where, everybody was excited. The beer was flowing. The whiskey was dripping. And I was like, no.
Yeah, you seen that firsthand.
Yeah.
We got a whole plate full of shots brought to us, and we're like, let's wait till after our set.
Hey, we give them all the Metal Mike.
Yeah,
Shout out to Metal Mike.
Yeah, Metal Mike. Yeah, he's a killer, dude.
He's got to be the
fucking
buffer, dude, because I was...
fucking Justin running our sound or our merch table, dude. I mean, it's not just about us. Like behind the scenes. It's not.
Bro, it takes a village to raise a children. It takes an army to put on a show.
It does, dude. And
because here's the thing. What a lot of people realize when it goes south, the show has to be smooth. Right? The show has to be smooth.
Right.
It's a almost hypnosis of the crowd where you're like, we're here, we're going here, we're doing this.
Yeah, when you have to have a meeting with all of us before the show even starts, before we even leave to the venue, like, hey, we have a meeting with, merch,
doing this,
merch guys, roadie guys.
Doing this, yeah.
And that's what it is. Like, yeah.
It's more or less an operation. Because if it's not a polished operation, interruptions will happen, and that will suck all the energy out of the crowd.
For sure, yeah.
Like in an instant, you know what I mean?
You got guitar techs watching everything with the guitars, and like you were watching my drums.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope he's enjoying the show, but like if something goes south for me, like I can't exactly stand up and fucking fix something.
No, I was on point. I was watching.
Yeah, you was good. Everything was good. Everything was good.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to take as good pictures as I could, but I was just so nervous. I was like, I will not be the person that fucks. I refuse to be the person that bombs this show because they fucking invited some stupid podcaster to watch the fucking drum set for 20 minutes and he couldn't even do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I was like keyed in,
Yeah,
but
everything went so good. Like
it was very smooth. And you know what? Like you think.
Shout out 1% Productions.
Shout out
for putting that on and killing it.
What I thought was kind of a conflict. Maybe not a real conflict, but when people listen to metal, they get this sense that these guys are very aggressive, and that's true. A lot of the people that I get to talk to and interview, there's some aggression, right? But when it comes to before everybody goes on stage, dude, you could have fucking preached the word of God. Everybody was nice because everybody had one
before
goal.
The storm.
Everybody had one goal. Let's do this and let's do this right. And I think that that's such a strange contrast between the music and the actuality of the situation. But thank you for inviting me.
For sure, dude.
Thank you for letting me get backstage and fucking shake hands and do all that.
I think you guys are coming up for the May show.
I should be there. Yeah, I'll be there.
It's a big possibility. No promises. I only plan 1 month out, but
dude. I mean, it takes a lot of people. It takes everything, but like you said, the metal community, very calm. It's like when it comes time to like when we walk onto that stage. Switch flips.
Yeah.
Especially for one particular person in the band. Like,
yeah.
The switch flips.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, holy shit. Like, and then we get off stage and it's all back to the same.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I
Unless
just
you're,
thought,
unless you're King Bobby, and then you're just the same all the time. There's no character there.
Just royalty all the time, you know?
There's no character with that man.
That's funny.
that man is all character. But yeah, no, I just thought the contrast between, the music and the actual operation, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much. That was eye-opening, really.
Yeah, dude, it's so much fun.
Because you don't realize how the pressure affects you until you're part of the operation, and then you're like, no, we will not be ruining this.
Well,
Over my fucking dead body, we'll be ruining this.
Just the afterglow, like, besides the show, like, you play a show like that, and then you have to go work your fucking 9 to 5. Talk about sucking the life out of you.
Oh,
I believe that.
You know what I mean?
So tell us about before this show.
Hey, can I get a pause real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got pee?
Yeah. And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry, we had someone so rudely having to piss after all these Twisted Teas and White Claws and Coors Banquets that I bashed the top of my fucking cranium
Attacking Coors Banquets.
We were off to a banger of a start.
Yeah, dude, the dogs tried to attack Tyler. Not like attack him with hatred, but with love. And as I was wrestling them off so they don't run away, I smashed the top of my skull into what is that,
An open 24-ounce banquet.
Yeah, so now I got a dent in my head. Anyway, we're back. We're talking about the Cavaleras show. And we were talking about the multiple pieces, the inner workings of putting on a show. Not like trying not to let the energy die by doing stage switches as fast as possible. People need to be in their place and this and that. But I got to hang out with you guys hours before even load in, which was really cool. How did that feel?
So I got to Kansas on Saturday. Saturday was fucking badass. Sunday was badass.
During practice?
Yeah, we were just rehearsing and just kind of going over, and we were all like, fucking, hell yeah, let's do this. And then Monday, when we showed up, there was like minimal speaking to each other. Like, I don't know, everyone was in like in a fog.
It was really quiet.
Like, it got real pretty quick, and so we rehearsed our set, and then there was absolutely no talking after. And I remember.
Go away. Or come in.
I remember.
Go away or come in.
Bobby was like, "Man, we got to put some music on, like just to break that eerie feeling."
Jesus, it's quiet in here, and I'm getting scared.
Yeah, it was so. It was so weird, man. I haven't had that feeling, like the pre-show nerves, in years. Like I did
you
that
were
day.
with your last band for a while, and you played some sets, and
some big shows.
So you're like an old hand at it, but I, as your friend, as your boy,
you could tell
there was enough tension in the air where I was like, God damn, dude, did I just accidentally do coke or what? Dude, I'm getting a little paranoid, and I'm not even in the band.
No, I mean, that's how it was, man. We were just kind of all in our own zone, like we were consuming ourselves, like I think we were all mentally preparing as like individuals, like this is what we need to do. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I can say for a fact, because of the set, that you guys didn't psych yourself out to the point of failure.
No,
which is a problem. And I've done it in here live on the podcast where it's like, I can play the Black Star solo and then immediately just eat shit and be like, what happened?
Yeah, like
I've done that so many times in here.
For us, that's not an option. Like you can't do that. You have to all these people that spent good money on tickets. Like no matter what the fuck you're feeling, dude, like take your fucking dress off.
Yeah, play the fucking
It's time
song,
to fucking
dude.
go.
Be a man.
Like you do this for a living, right? So I remember before we even left, I was like, Bobby was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Dude, I'm fucking nervous." He's like, "You of all people?" And I was like, "I'm sorry."
I mean, that's a valid point.
I'm trying to hold it together for everyone, but I'm fucking. Remember, I said I was like a duck, like the duck meme you seen, like where you're calm on the top of the water, but like under the water, you're just like paddling your ass off. Yeah, dude. My sister from Florida had called me before we left. She's like, "What's going on?" And I was just telling her, man, I'm stoked, but I'm fucking nervous. And she's like, what the fuck? She's like, why? And I was like, she's like, this is what you do. And I was like, you're right. This
Do
is
you
what I
think
do.
you'd be as nervous if it wasn't somebody like Cavalera? Like the Cavalera brothers?
I
You
think
know what I
that's something to do with it.
mean? That had to, dude. Because if
That did.
Max was in here and he was like, show me a gallop. Show me your gallops. Oh, no, he'd be like, show me a gallop.
Like,
because he's...
You're
you know.
immediately have hot flashes.
Oh, dude, I'd be like, a gallop?
What's a gallop?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I just like strum sometimes. And he'd be like, oh.
I don't know, man. I kind
pussy.
of I kind of go through a routine, like kind of, but for some reason at new venues I just get nervous. It's the anticipation, like the unknown, like okay, what are, like you said, the behind the scenes stuff, like you got to kind of worry about that too.
Well, I
like
can't
it's
say-
not just a set, it's just
like-
like everything.
From a non-artist perspective, just from some guy hanging out and figuring out what's going on, there are a lot of decisions that are like, we'll figure it out when we get here. And those
Yeah.
decisions make me not happy.
Yeah.
Make me not happy at all. Because I want to know the details. I want to know. I want to say, we're going to fucking infill
that's
in
what-
this location. We're going to shoot this guy. The X will be at this point. Everything's going to go right. But at the same time, you know, sometimes things just don't go right. So you got to, you know, play it by ear.
You got to adapt.
You got to feel it out. We had the drum set up in front of the stage. And
Then we had to move.
And everyone was like, go outside. We have to go over here outside. And then it was like, what door do we take? You know?
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's like you said, like, yeah, we set the drums. They're like, go here. So we set the drums there. I almost had them all the way set up. Oh, now, like, you guys are moving out here. And we're like, okay, so we move out there. So then it's just all the bands hanging out, which is cool as fuck. But, like, there was so much equipment set up, like, staged up. Like, yeah, everyone's got to be in the right place.
Dude, I this is what I like. I like this because, you know, I'm me. And I to be flat honest, I'm not a huge fan of gear. I'm a way bigger fan of the live stage, of the energy, of the loudness, of the let's get fucking lit, like let's fucking go.
Yeah, dude.
So I treat my gear like that sometimes. You know what I mean? Like obviously my guitars, you know, those are children to me. But as far as like pedal boards and amp heads and cabinets and stuff, and it was so fucking crazy for me to walk up and see, I want to say it was a JCM 800 lead head just sitting in the gravel.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then I
mean,
realized, I was like, oh shit. Not only do you have to buy the gear, and sacrifice hours and hours to learn how to play, hours and hours to learn how to play your own songs, how to record, how to do this, how to do that. But for us as blue collars, me and Brand are blue collars,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Tyler, he was a blue collar. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that's going to last with his new single. Hopefully 5
not
minutes.
long.
You know, hopefully 5 minutes. But I'm looking at this this is an amp that me now and childhood me would be like, oh my God, dude, I'd give my fucking left testicle for
Just
that
dream
fucking
over
amp
it.
head.
Yeah.
And it's sitting in pea gravel.
well, you just got to invest in your craft. Like, I know, because
I'm just talking about the sacrifice where it's like, hey, if they want us here in the pea gravel, the JCM is going into the pea gravel because we have a show to fucking do and we're doing it.
I remember,
You know what I mean?
I remember carrying my kick drum out to get set up, and I looked at Mason, and Mason has his like nice ass kit in the gravel, and I like set my bass drum so carefully, like I didn't want to scratch it. You know what I mean?
Mason.
Doom for Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
Well, with the black, with the orange
yeah,
fade
we
shells.
both
God
just
damn, that drum
we
set's
both just have
fucking
our
lit.
shells just like laying in the gravel
On the ground.
and I was like, there is no way I'm gonna warm up with my kick. Like, I am not gonna fucking be jolting that thing across the gravel.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Cut right through the
But it's
fucking
listen,
epoxy,
hey.
all that shit.
Hey, you know what though? When
But,
you get, when
like,
you get
that's-
shows like that, you go where they tell you to go.
That is just another thing where it's like, you want to open for Cavalera, put your fucking drum set and your JCM 800 lead into that gravel over there. We'll call you when you're ready.
That's how
And
it
to
was.
us bedroom guitarists, us young guitarists, us, you know, unfunded, guitarist, it's like if I bought a JCM 800 lead and some asshole came into the studio and just grabbed it and put it in the grass,
I'll hit you in the mouth, dude.
that's
I'll
fucking dude, you just wrote a check, bro.
Absolutely not.
You may not beat me, but I'm going to try to beat your ass. I'm going to try to make it as uncomfortable as possible because you put my fucking JCM 800 in pea gravel. But as soon as everybody shows up for the show, everybody's like, drums outside, pea gravel? Yes. Boing. Damn. $30,000 in fucking pea gravel. You know what I mean? Like, like when it comes to, you know, quote unquote war, when it comes to time to go up here and show people what the fuck it is, when it comes time to, hey, you paid $40 to see us, plus other people are 60 or whatever you paid, you know, these bands will and are more than willing to make the sacrifice. No questions, no complaining whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
we're here, and we have to be here. We're going to move our shit here. Then we're going to move inside. We're going to play our set. We're going to move out. We're going to exfil as quick as possible so the next band shows up. I just thought it was really impressive because I'm not even I'm not a very gear-centered person at all. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've talked about this before. Some people are gear centered, and that's great. That's awesome. Because those are the people you want to talk to if something goes wrong or you want a certain tone. I'm like, hey, man, I want to plug a chord into my guitar and I want to rock. You know what I mean? But even me, if I had a fucking JCM 800 amp head and someone was like, put it in the pea gravel over there, I'd be like, oh, hey, hold up. And then, that's a bit of a reach. You know what I mean? Even for me.
Yeah. You're
A bit of a reach. That's $2,500 in pea gravel.
You
dude.
don't have like
what I
a
mean?
dust-proof box and pillows and stuff I can set it on inside, or
Is there another way? And then the organizer's like,
Put it in the
your
pea
drum
gravel or
set.
get the fuck out of here.
yeah, put it outside or get the fuck out. You know what I mean? And that's just one more thing where I was like, because I've jammed with a lot of people, right? And, you know, we have cup holders on the mic stands and everything just because you don't have to put it on top of the amp. We don't want you to, knock a beer over and fry $2,000. But as soon as show day comes around, it's like, hey, it doesn't matter what the fuck you think or what the fuck you feel like or how much money you spent. We're playing the show and we need to be over here. And
it's a big sacrifice.
to me, it means a lot. To me, as like from the outside looking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the outside, and he's got what drum set does Mason play?
Ooh, I'm not 100% sure.
And how much did your drum set cost?
I probably got between 12 and 15 grand in it.
12 and 15 grand, and it lives on its own separate piece of carpet, and it's like pea gravel for you.
Well, was
we
it
were like,
was it
okay.
you? Was it you when we walked out and my china stand had fell over and my fucking $500 china were just sitting on the sidewalk like it had fallen over?
I didn't knock it over, dude.
No, you didn't knock it
How
over.
dare you
I didn't-
knock
I don't
his
know,
fucking
I don't
china
know who
over.
knocked it over. I don't know if the wind knocked it over or what, but was it you?
No,
that
I didn't knock it over.
No. That's what I'm saying. I looked over and someone was next to me. I thought it was you. I was like, holy shit, my china's on the fucking. It might have been Mike. I don't know.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
I was like, at least pick it up if you see it fall. Jeez.
When we were like
Yeah.
downloading and stuff, like I'm not a drummer, but I know how much a cymbal costs, And you guys were like, Entropic was like, Heavy, you got to watch the drum set to make sure anything doesn't fall down live. And I'm like, this is the worst place for me.
Yeah.
15 racks.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
telling you, I was like, if something happens, take this route onto the stage.
Oh, dude,
Like,
I would have fucking meleeed up there, dude. I would have fucking hit the camera guy. It would have been fucking something. But like for me as a non-drummer, like I've never owned a drum set ever. I know how much they cost because of, research, but the fact that we fucking set everything up in pea gravel and everyone was like,
With
hey,
stress.
man, if this is what it takes, then we're going to fucking sacrifice whatever we need to.
It's wild.
That's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
Brain would have been having like high anxiety.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm tough. I am. Sometimes.
Okay.
I'm tough when it comes to gear. Is that better?
There you go.
I'm tough when it comes to gear. I'm not tough in any other sentiment, but I'm tough when it comes to gear because I'll put beers everywhere and all this stuff. But as soon as everybody started, they're like, "Set your drum set up out here." I'm like, "Whoa, but why?
Oh, why though?
Why don't we just do backlines and we can just put it all on the nice carpet and be like, to the pea gravel?" I'm like, "Holy shit, dude." All right. But anyway, to further beat the fuck out of a dead horse, for the love of Christ, sorry listeners, things aren't as glamorous as you think they are backstage unless you're Motley Crue.
This is true.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen the way the other bands traveled as well.
Dude, I remember walking by a van with a band member in it that was on tour, and it looked like holy hell. This dude curled up like he was in Vietnam on a fucking van seat and passed out.
Yeah. That's what it takes, though.
You're tired.
Yeah, that's what it takes, though,
You don't
man.
sleep in that position unless you are absolutely exhausted or drunk and high. Either way, exhausted.
No, it's like,
Yeah.
but you have something to look forward to because your van is next to the Cavalier bus, and you're like, this is what it could be. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude,
You got to start somewhere.
I was talking to you how I went to Killswitch and Kubla Khan and all that stuff, and they had that whole area in the parking lot cordoned, and there was fucking 3 buses and 2 trailers and all that stuff. I'm like, this seems nice.
Yeah.
This seems really nice. And then it was like, why the fuck would anybody pay that much for these guys unless they went through the gauntlet of sleeping on the floor of a fucking Mercedes Sprinter? And their fucking drumstick is just like poking in their eye and they're getting crushed by the kick drum. Like a touring band.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, you go through it to play those 20 or 30 minutes of, like, total fucking, like, Cloud 9.
How'd you feel when you were playing?
I felt good. Yeah, I felt good. And my favorite part is, like, not necessarily like the adults. It's, like, the kids that are out there. Like, I think that's the coolest thing. Like, when I walked off, before I even had all my stuff off stage, there was a dad and, like, another guy and their daughter was like, "Can we get a selfie with you? Can we take a picture with you?" And I was like,
That's sick, dude.
I was like, fucking
That's so
sick,
cool.
dude. So I took a picture with him, and that little girl was so happy. So I grabbed my set list, and I had all of us sign it. And then I met her up in the crowd, and I was like, here you go. And her dad and her was like, fucking just like pumped, like made their day.
That's so
like,
sick,
and dude, that's what's fun.
Yeah.
And for no reason, dude. Like just fucking airwaves coming out of a speaker. Like everything we do, this podcast, your band, everybody's bands, all music on Spotify, it's all pointless. Logically.
But to someone else, though, it could mean the world.
What I'm saying is like all of this, all of metal, all of music, if you look at it through a plus and minus financial standpoint, is absolutely pointless.
You're in the negative.
But yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You're in the
Yeah,
fucking.
yeah.
You're fucking way in the red, dude.
Until someone comes put like $1 million check on my table, I'll be in the negative.
And who knows? But what I'm saying is like this effort, all these intricate pieces that we were talking about, the nerves, right? Like the execution, all the things that fly around the venue, like the amount of work it takes just to own a venue and book and all this stuff. And at the end of the day, some people are in the positives, but a lot of people are in the red.
Yeah.
Do you think that selfie is worth it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
It goes against all human logic, but it's absolutely worth it. And with that, we're going to close this segment because we've been beating the shit out of this dead horse, and I think we need to move on.
Just leave it the fuck alone, dude. It's been dead.
Go on Spotify and check us out.
You guys did fucking
Sick.
great. Entropic on Spotify.
We'll link him on the.
I'm
on the
tired of
episode
working 9 to
description.
5.
All platforms.
So-
get this man out, dude. He wants
Get
to
him out.
play the drums.
Yeah, I need more.
He just wants to take selfies with people and sign tits all day.
Not tits.
No, I'll sign some tits.
He'll sign tits.
Yeah.
He'll sign some tits, dude.
I'll
What's
tell him
wrong
this-
with signing tits?
technically sign whatever. They're just a
He'll
film.
sign whatever it takes to get him to the top, dude.
This is true.
Sign my pinky toe.
And that's why we like him.
Done.
So we've been talking about the top. We've been talking about these shows. We've been talking about, heads and pea gravel and gear and pea gravel and all this stuff. And we've interviewed you about your, starting setup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about starting setups with a segment that we like to call What's Up with Offer Up.
What's up?
What's Up with Offer Up is proof that if
There's
you
no
grind,
excuses.
Exactly.
True.
If you grind and if you make it a priority, you can get something that will set you on the path to opening for
Your
Cavalera.
end goal. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna do Offer Up Oklahoma City. Brian's gonna do Offer Up. What city are you doing?
I am near Oklahoma City, surrounding
Is it just
areas.
a website?
I actually got
I
something.
usually just look on Marketplace.
You can just do Marketplace.
Yeah,
it's all
you can
good.
do Marketplace. It's all good.
What's Up with Offer Up just sounded good at the time,
Yeah.
and it stuck. I actually got something in Yukon off the rip that I seen and super interested. It's a piece of guitar gear. It is not a guitar though. I found a Line 6 amp. It says Flextone HD.
Is it a combo or amp head?
It's a combo for $300.
Wait, hold up. It's the head and
That's
the
not a
fucking
combo.
4x12?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The combo
not a
is-
combo. No. Yeah.
Yeah, a
Sorry,
combo
my
is like
brain.
the black
Oh, so that's a half stack.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
half
yeah.
stack
A
here.
Line 6 half stack?
Line 6 half stack for $300 near Yukon. Let me
Hold
read
up.
some description.
What kind of
It
speakers
says
are in there?
250 watts. What? Hang on.
Holy shit, dude. That's mine.
It doesn't have any other information written on it. I don't really care. It looks sick. Got a bunch of effects on it and stuff.
$300 for a half stack?
$300 for a half stack, dude. Don't
That's a deal.
complain. Get something to be really, really, really loud.
You can go on stage with that thing.
Yeah, you could.
100%, dude.
Yeah, look at the back of this thing, dude. It's a monster. It's got effects built into it and everything, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Sick.
Line 6
Line
was
6
the-
is it.
Was the first, so you got that Black Star amp?
Yeah.
Line 6 was the first of its kind when it comes to that. Maybe.
It's,
yeah.
it's pretty
Line
nutty.
6 is where Lit Room started. All of them guys.
No,
had-
I said it 100 times on the
Line 6
podcast. I remember the fucking magazines from Guitar Center coming in, and it was like, if you don't have a Line 6 amp, you don't play metal. You're a bitch.
Yeah, because at least the Line 6 Spider 3 heads, you
The
could
Spider 3.
you could download the cabs or whatever. Like you could get like Korn or whatever. So it's kind of, I think that feels like kind of where
Dude.
that kind of stuff started.
I love this in the pictures that this dude's taken of like the inputs and outputs and stuff on the back of the amp head. He shows all his Sharpie marks on settings that he prefers, is what I'd assume it is. Like he's got like stuff circled
Yeah,
and
for
stuff
sure.
on it. That's so sick, dude.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the coolest, dude.
Yeah.
Get that. $300 buckaroo.
Then you can use his settings.
Yeah, dude.
And they might be dope.
I bet if you go to buy this thing and you talk to the dude and you're like, hey, what did you like to run? He'll point exactly at the stuff that's Sharpie marked and he'll be like, this is
don't
how
be
it
a
sounds sick.
dumbass. Look at
Yeah,
the Sharpie
dude.
marks.
Yeah, dude.
Do you want this or not?
This guy probably
$300
got some
plus
history in it. Yeah. Line 6 amp.
Well, I mean, we kind of went through a little bit of tone research last night. And we set, what, 1 amp and 1 pedal each, pretty much?
Yeah.
And that took an hour, maybe 2 hours.
It can take.
So those
A long
Sharpie
time.
marks on that fucking head,
Yeah.
it could be anywhere from fucking 2 hours to 17. And you might want to try them. And for $300 for a fucking half stack, which, by the way, is crazy,
Crazy cheap.
that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal.
I promise you'll have fun with it.
Your parents won't have to buy you expensive stuff.
Yeah.
$300 for a
You're
half
gonna be
stack.
good.
$300 for a half stack. I bought my first half stack with like 1,100, dude, and it wasn't even a good half stack, dude.
Now you have a good half stack.
Now I have a decent half stack, dude.
Good. Say the fucking word.
You should have got it in
That
orange.
decent. Huh?
You should have got it in orange.
I like black, dude. I got an orange 4x12 with V30s in it. And I wanted black because the orange fucking alligator skin on the outside, I'm just not really a fan. I don't really like orange that much.
Yeah.
The color, you know?
Yeah.
Just
And
happens to be my favorite color.
And this fucking, the wicker basket old school furniture front, I'm not a fan of that either, okay?
Hey, it is sick.
You don't like it?
I
Get
don't
out,
like
dude.
it at all.
I hate you.
It's-
I don't want to do the show with you anymore.
Dude, if I wanted to sit on
Pause
the
your book.
porch, I'd order wicker. If I wanted to rock, I would not.
It looks gnarly, bro.
Does it?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, I really want to take it apart and just order like chain link fence for the front.
I mean, whatever, bro.
I just want something a little more aggressive, dude. This looks like I'm about to drink tea with milk, dude.
Sure.
I'm not trying to drink tea with milk, dude.
Well, you look like you're about to.
Let's take a picture of the.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a
Am I?
picture of this and post it on the Facebook and let people decide. Metal or not metal,
It's metal because it's black.
dude. I'm telling you that the wicker, it does look sick, dude.
Dude, I want to cut that open with a fucking razor blade now.
it's
and take it
classic
off.
orange for me, dude. I like it.
I don't give a fuck about Britain, dude.
All right.
What, dude?
Don't give up so easy.
Listen.
Back in black.
Wait.
Just shut up.
Oh, man, that is true.
You heard it here first, folks. Heavy hates AC/DC.
No. No, please, God, dude. I named my dog after ACDC. It's on his collar that he ripped off and tore to shreds. I don't know, man. Wicker.
All right.
Listen, all I'm saying is
what'd you find?
$300 for a half stack is great, and somebody needs to buy that immediately, dude. Because listen, even if you don't like the sound, you can pull the speakers out of it and put good speakers in there, and it'll sound great. Probably.
Heavy's gonna buy the $300 Line 6 just to get rid of his other cab because he doesn't like the wicker cover.
No, hold up. No, we can cut that out and we can put
Chain link.
like barbed wire or something aggressive. I don't know. Listen, man.
Could you imagine the vibration? That would really
I don't
be
like
a problem.
orange. I don't like the color orange, dude. All right. There's a new posting here in Oklahoma City, and it's not a good deal. Sorry, it's not a good deal. But the guitar is kind of sick.
Okay.
It's a Squier Contemporary Jazzmaster, one of those offsets,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Cool.
Black pickguard with like that ocean teal paint.
Looks kind of minty almost.
Yeah, ocean teal mint.
Yeah.
Mint ocean, dude. Hold up.
What's the price on it?
It's $450, but there is no fucking way, dude. I thought there was EMGs on it because it had that square EMG look.
Yeah.
Squier apparently has made SQR pickups, which
Okay.
are square like the EMGs, and they are active, dude.
Sick. That's cool. That's cool.
And listen, man, Squire's not the best guitar, and it's never gonna be. But it's a guitar for $450. and
Solid.
It will not limit you. I promise that. And the Jazzmaster is one of those things where it's a strange one. You know what I mean? It's a very strange looking guitar, but the history behind the Jazzmaster body shape is there's a lot of history. I think who's the guy that shot himself in the face with a shotgun?
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. He used a lot of Jazzmasters. But it was pretty sick. And I did not know that Squier made their own active Squier SQR pickups. Surf Pearl Squier Jazzmaster with HH stop tail. There's no whammy. It's a solid bridge. But it looks nice. $450 if you want to get into that kind of, oh God, it's a fucking ad. Jazz mastery kind of stuff. I've heard they sound great when it comes to like acoustic and blues and jazz kind of shit.
Yeah.
You know, it is called the Jazzmaster.
Brain, what does your friends in Greta Van Fleet play?
What would you find on OfferUp?
Well, I found it on Marketplace.
Yeah.
It's in Purcell or Lexington, Oklahoma.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
A complete Pearl soundcheck drum set for $500.
The brand Pearl?
Yeah, that's what I play. The Pearl, an export series.
Hold up, let me see this shit.
It comes with cymbals,
What symbols?
a hi-hat, a ride, a crash, and a 12-inch splash. And it comes with Pearl double bass pedals and a throne for $500. That's a fucking deal.
That's a fucking super deal. What color?
Red.
Oh, yeah, shit. My bad, dog. It is red. It's red.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Tyler,
Sick.
Colorblind.
he is a big
There's
colorblind.
some colors. You know,
Let me
it's
see
not
this
all-
What color is it? It's hilarious.
I was like,
He's like,
don't fuck this up.
red, probably.
Probably red. I like my chances.
No, it has Zildjian symbols on it?
Yeah. Yep.
The symbols alone are $500.
Oh, for sure. The pedal is probably $250.
And does it come with this snare too?
Yeah.
Dude, you got fucking three
Dude,
toms,
I'll tell you-
a kick, fucking a ride, a crash, 2 hi-hats, and a snare. And it's in gloss red, confirmed by me. And you have a seat for $500?
Yeah.
Get out, dude.
That's a fucking
For
deal.
$500, dude?
I'll tell you this.
That's like buying a guitar for
and
$50.
my kit's a 2005 Pro Expert Series, and just for the drums, snare, kick, 3 toms, just those was $600 with only the drums.
The shells of your drum kit is $600?
Yeah, 5
Wow.
shells, $600.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
So this is a good deal.
Sick, dude. I got one more in memory of our favorite band of the show, Greta Van Fleet. I found a Gibson SG. I found an 05 Gibson SG. This isn't the same year as theirs.
Dude,
Apparently,
what's
they
up with-
used the 1961 Gibson Les Paul SG Standard. But I found an actual Gibson SG Special Faded Worn Cherry in 05. Comes with a hard case. This thing is pretty sick.
That's a
Again,
Gibson guitar?
it's a
Oh, it's
Gibson.
like the AC/DC guitar.
Yeah, but it's not red and black. It's that worn cherry and black.
Yeah, it's really, really
Oh, you
good
can
looking.
see the fucking wood grain through it.
Yeah.
How much?
They want $900 for it. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now.
Just the guitar?
Yeah, well, guitar and hard case.
$900
$900 for
that's a deal.
for an 05 Gibson is a pretty good deal. And I'm mainly bringing this up because of Greta Van Fleet. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Shout out.
Come on the pod.
Oh, sorry, it's not in Yukon. It's in Sapulpa. Either way, this thing does look fucking very good. This thing looks sweet, dude.
I got one more guitar and amp for $650. It is a Fender Mustang LT25, just like Brain had.
I loved that amp. By the way.
Great starter amp if you
Yeah.
want to explore and figure out what guitar is all about.
Yeah.
And it says guitar is a Jackson. The Jackson is a super strat with a neck humbucker and a bridge humbucker.
That'd be a dinky.
Possibly, but it looks more expensive than a dinky. It's a black fade green burst Jackson.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I believe it's 6 strings.
It looks like a dinky.
Yeah, it's a 6 string. It's possibly a dinky, but if you wanted to get started on guitar and you wanted to have, you know, something that's more challenging to master, this Jackson is it because it comes with a Floyd.
Whoa.
$650 for an amp and a Floyd Rose bridge. This sick Jackson fade to black green burst I'm pretty sure that's quilted maple on the top of it. Let me tell you something about Jackson necks, dude. I don't think I've picked a Jackson guitar up where it wasn't screaming in my face to say, play faster.
Yeah.
Those necks are thin. Those necks are lethal. Those necks are accurate. And Jackson's the tits, dude.
I will tell you that when I go between the Jackson that I keep here at the studio and, well, any of my other guitars at home, yeah, I feel like I can almost gain speed on literally anything I do.
It wants you to go.
Yeah. So,
You
like, if I
pick
get
it up and it's
dude,
like, there's no obstacles here. This is on you. Just go.
I hard bombed napalm in the intro today, but it's just because we've been working with our new gear for the last week and for 13 hours
Lord
yesterday.
have mercy. Praise God. Figured it out.
Yeah, man. It was trials. But playing like napalm, any of the slides or just fast moving up and down the neck, anything on the stuff at home versus this Jackson guitar, it's different, man. It hits different.
And that's crazy because you modified your Squire Strat to where it's legitimately lethal.
It's pretty sick, dude. My Squire Strat's like not anything to really mess with anymore.
But that Jackson is just like, go fast.
It's just dude, the neck on it. Like you can't. I wonder if I can maybe take my Strat and rip the neck off of it and put a Jackson neck on.
I would say it's sacrilege, but Fender owns Jackson and Squire, I believe.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck either.
What are they going to do?
You have a Frankenstein guitar.
Yeah, fuck that. We'll call Tom Stone. We'll get a lawyer.
I think Jackson does have my favorite neck. Yeah.
Yeah, but what about Schecter, dude?
I have a Schecter at home,
Ibanez, dude? Come on.
Hold up. It has something to do with, what do you call it? The depth of the neck? Like the space between the back of the neck and the front of the fretboard.
The thickness of the actual
neck. Yeah. So the thickness of the neck.
Girth.
I feel like, yeah, dude, the girth of the neck. I feel like they kind of nailed it, dude.
Well, I'll tell you right now. So I played my Squire. I've been playing my new Ibanez pretty much nonstop since I bought it.
Yeah.
Obviously, as one does. And the other night, I was like, well, you're not good unless you can play these exercises on the Strat.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't get me wrong. The Strat neck, the Squire neck was girthy. And it was a little slower.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop me.
Mm-hmm. I found another $500 drum set.
Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it. Anyway, your guitar's not stopping you. It's you.
Yeah.
Be quiet. Practice.
I mean, it's still $500, but I think the Pearl's going to be the better deal. This is in Oklahoma City.
Hell yeah.
It's a Orbitone, which I've never heard of. And it has like a mixed cymbal bag. So there's Zildjian, Sabian, and some other ones I don't know. But it looks like you get the hi-hat, 1, 2, 4 cymbals. So probably a ride and 3 crashes.
Yeah.
With the snare and the throne, still $500.
$500 for another Pearl? Let me see.
It's not a Pearl. This one's not a Pearl. I think the Pearl's going to be a better deal, but still $500.
It's red.
It's still red.
It's still red.
Is it?
2 toms, a floor tom, a kick. 1, 2, 3 crashes, a ride, and hi-hats. Oh, dude, Zildjian hi-hats, a Sabian crash, and a Zildjian? How do you say
Zildjian.
that? Say it again.
Zildjian?
Zildjian ride, and a solar crash, and...
Sorry, I've heard of the brand that Tyler said. I don't know what brand you're saying.
Zildjian?
I have no idea. Yeah, see, I've heard of that one. I've never heard of the one you're saying. What do you use?
Zildjian? Zildjian?
Oh.
I play drums better than you, Brain, so you better shut the fuck up. How about that?
He's right.
It's true. It is true. Be able to prove it soon on air.
Oh, bro. Guys, if you're listening, and you are if you're listening to me.
Yeah.
To all the people not listening, you should be here. But if you are listening, some things are happening.
Yeah, but if you're not listening, listen.
Yeah, but if you're not listening and you can hear me, you should listen.
Pause your book.
Pause your book and give us a fucking listen. I gotta piss so bad.
Piss boy. All right, and we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Overkill.
We're back. So listen, the whole point of the offer up segment is to, if you're listening and you're thinking about getting into music, whatever instrument you want is out there, and you can grab a hold of it and you can pull it and you can tug that instrument off and you can make it somewhere.
You can make it bust some music out.
Yeah, people love busting music right now, and you could do it by yourself. There's no excuses. Listen, gear's never going to hold you back from your skill and your talent. So get in there, get in the ring.
True.
Fight the good fight. Practice guitar, practice drums, practice bass, practice vocals, practice fucking the oboe. We don't give a fuck.
No.
The rain stick.
The rain stick. Practice your rain stick every day. Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo. Didgeridoo. Don't ignore us when we're saying this.
All right.
Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
Into like a little mini segment here. We talk about we did do some studio upgrades and we got some new gear, and we just want to share kind of some of our experiences of our insane trials that we've gone through.
Yeah, we've been through some trials and tribulations with some new gear to try to push the quality of the episode further. And listen, this applies to everybody. When you get a new piece of gear, the manuals, it doesn't matter where it came from, leave something to be desired.
They don't
we
have all
learned
the
that
answers,
the fucking tough way yesterday when we spent a number of hours in here trying to make the brand new gear work with our interface,
13.
But who's counting?
13.
I'm not counting. It was a long time, and it was painful, and it was there was a lot of almost panic attacks because it's so much money, and we couldn't make it work, and this and that,
So
you can make it work if you try, and we proved that yesterday.
And we went from an ancient piece of gear, recording the whole episode. So we were running off of a Behringer Xenix X2442 USB complete analog mixing board. We had all of our room mics. Everybody in the room has individual mics, and all of our amps are mic'd up as well. It's been kind of the Bible. The one rule is make everybody very individualized and very well balanced if possible. That Behringer 2442 was very tough to do that with. So we upgraded.
That kind of brings me back to my initial point of offer up. We got that mixer for how much? $250
ish. Yeah.
At a used gear. What was it called back then? Gear Exchange, and now it's called something else.
Yeah.
It was a local music store that sold used gear. We got it for $250. We thought we were fucking kings of the world because we have a mixing board now instead of, a USB mic.
Instead of nothing.
Yeah, pretty much nothing, you know.
But
that was our break-in. I mean,
you guys made it work.
It wasn't a whole lot of money, and we made it work for
a year,
almost a year.
Almost a year.
Over a year. This is our first episode with a new mixer, and it's past the 1 year mark. So we've been. Oh no, we were using DI. Yeah.
Well, so
1 year.
To the point of that is we did it for a year with limited gear ish. There's little steps here and there. We finally took a big step and upgraded that board that took us this far, and the new board we're running is another Behringer. We stayed kind of brand loyal on that one.
Behringer
X32. It's not a brand new piece of gear. Like, this thing's been out for like a decade and a half at this point.
Yeah, the X32 has been out for some time.
It's about 15 years. It's been out.
15 years?
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah.
But
they've done upgrades.
It goes to show how durable it is, because that's the same mixture they had at Cavalera.
True. Yeah, it's the same mixer they were running that live show with, which is crazy.
I got to tell this story.
Okay, go ahead.
I got to tell this story. So, obviously, I went to the Cavalera show with Entropic and all the homies, and my task was to watch the drum set and make sure the drum set is good. I don't know how to drum. I don't know anything about this shit, but I watched it like a fucking hawk, right? But in the between settings, you're running around the venue. You're running around, you're getting beers, you're shaking hands, and you're fucking peeking and shit. Huh?
In the beginning.
You run around, dude.
Yeah.
And we had ordered this mixer without ever seeing it in real life. I think, Brain,
absolutely.
You saw it in real life, didn't you?
Yeah, I seen it one time at some random gear store. I don't even remember where it was.
I never saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at pictures with a white background, and I'm like,
It's been a while, though.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I've never seen it before. It looks, the capability-wise, the spec sheet, I was like, this is sick, And I walk over to the sound booth just to make sure nobody's panicking, because if somebody's panicking, that means we need to all stop and figure out what's going on before my friends go up and play a set, So I'm walking around and just, I don't know anything, but I'm just checking things out and making sure everything's going smooth. And when I walked in front of the soundboard, I just see the big Behringer logo, and I'm like, oh, yeah, Behringer. They make good mixers.
Yeah.
And then on top, it said X32, and I'm like, oh, that's got to be the expanded version. That's like the big homie version, like the fucking we're being serious about what we're doing. It's the X32, whatever the fuck. And then Brain got the package and could barely fit it in the door.
Yeah.
And I said, ugh.
Well, I took a picture of it compared to the exact mixer that we're currently using, another 2442 that I have in my shed.
Yeah.
And it was well over double the size. Like well over.
I had no idea.
Dude, I didn't know. I was like,
honestly,
maybe it's
I
like,
thought it was the same size.
I thought it was like 6-7 inches wider.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the weight of it.
I mean, you guys had to invest in a whole new table.
Yeah, we had to get a new table in order to fit this thing in here, relay out the room, everything. Yeah, it was kind of a shock, but
it was really cool to see, a band as legendary, a group as legendary as the Cavalier Brothers run through the mixer that we just ordered.
Yeah.
That I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And they sounded like the album. And I was like, okay, we had excuses before, but now if something sounds like shit, 100% on us.
Yep. Which I'm sure something's going to not sound perfect in this, but it's fine. We'll fix it.
Dude, it's the first ride, dude.
First ride.
All right. So talk about what the fuck we did yesterday for 9 hours straight.
Well, it started with, we were learning how to individually tune channels, which is a lot more difficult than we were used to on the 2442 with it being all analog. It was very simple to understand. Over the last week, I've had this thing at the house, like just unplugged from a computer, just trying to make it work correctly and understand how individual tracks work on this thing. I spent a couple evenings interfacing it to my computer at home. Interfacing this machine is much tougher, way tougher than I expected it to be. I run Windows at home, so that was an ungodly amount of drivers and this and that and whatever. But we're now running this fully digital board into Reaper, which we were running GarageBand before. Reaper is a much larger open source program that has infinite options. So it was tough. It took us a lot of hours to figure out at home. Then brought it to the studio. We got a Mac in the studio. Things change. And we spent hours and hours and hours trying to understand how to make it output through the USB post fader. Because when we finally got it to input into Reaper, we had no control over any of the volumes or the mutes with the board. Like the board wasn't hardly doing any work other than taking in the inputs, allowing us to basically EQ them and gain them and putting them directly in Reaper. That was hours of work for us to understand. It's routing within the board. So it's stuff that you can't see physically. And we're not used to that.
Dude, I almost had a meltdown at least 3 times, dude. At least 3 times. I was like, why can't you plug it in and then plug it into the computer and then it does it?
No, we spent it was a 13-hour studio day, and out of those 13 hours, about 10 of them was specifically this problem. It took us a long time. We understand now generally how to do it, and I have good control over each of our mic inputs. If I take this one and bring it down, if I take it, bring it nice and up, you should be able to hear that on the recording. It was tough. It was a lot of work, man.
It was fucking brutal.
Now that it's working though, it's pretty sick.
Just to wrap that whole thing up, the reason why we said that is not because we want you to take pity on us. It's like, look how much work we did for
Not
you to
that.
listen to our fucking stupid podcast. What we are saying is you can do it if you try.
You can't just give up on something early.
Me and Brain are both not college educated. We're just a bunch of blue collar guys that are just trying to make shit work, and you can do that too.
Yeah.
You can do that. If you have an idea that you want to fucking produce, you can do that. It will cost you.
It will cost you your sanity.
You
a little
should
bit.
expect some resistance from the enemy. Enemy being
Everything.
put it down and go home, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The enemy is going to be quitting and going
Give
home.
up. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because it's not like anybody has like real enemies these days, you know, except for apparently the healthcare system. Bang. But you could also just force your way through it. And a lot of times, if you just lock yourself in a room and concentrate on it, you can do it. And we did it. And it took a long time, and we think it was worth it. And we're super fucking happy about it.
Very
And
similar.
you can do it too. There's nothing special about us. We are fucking dumb retards, okay?
Very, very similar to just even playing an instrument where it feels like the odds are stacked against you in the beginning. Really.
There's no bar to entry to this.
It just takes time, you know, and 13 hours may seem like a lot in a single day to
Well,
sit
I'll
in
tell
one
you
room.
what seemed like a lot. How many hours seemed like a lot was when Hillary didn't answer that email that one time. And those hours were probably longer than the hours we spent the other day working this out.
Probably, yeah.
Was it 11 hours or
I don't even know.
13 or 12? There's a lot of hours
Yeah.
that probably felt a lot longer than the hours we spent in the podcast, mostly because we weren't getting shot at by members of a militia. Maybe that's a trick. Maybe if somebody shoots guns at us, we would have figured it out earlier, and then we could have gone on with our day. I think. You know, if there's any volunteers to shoot guns at us while we're trying to figure out audio gear, just shoot us a message.
You can find us on Facebook.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and
And
YouTube.
now your message board is going to blow the fuck up. Like, we'll shoot at you.
Nah.
Listen, if there's not an explosion near me, how can I take this seriously? You know
True.
what I mean?
It's true. Yeah.
How do you know how committed you're going to be?
That's true.
I think it's 11 hours or 47 hours,
I don't know.
but it could be 13 hours.
That's a giant gap.
I met those guys,
That's
by the
a
way.
very...
Yeah. I was over there when that shit happened.
Wow.
And you know what? Those guys look kind of tired. They
Sick.
looked a little sleepy. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Anyway, to put a fucking pin in this, you can do it, dude.
Don't give up.
You can do it. You can force your way, dude. You can be like fucking Slipknot. Stop your bitching and fight your way through it. You can do this shit. And that's gear queer. And we were real queers for 13 hours yesterday. And now maybe we're not so queer. I don't know. That's it.
Anyway, we did a little bit of research on a topic.
Yeah, we got some topics, dude.
Yeah, let's talk about some stuff. Well, what did we research?
Hey, Ty, have you ever had surgery?
No.
You've had 0 surgeries your entire life?
Mhm.
I haven't
Like
either.
dental or like broken bones and shit?
Well, like a root canal, but that's not
You
surgery.
got a root canal?
It's not surgery.
It is.
Is it?
I've never either.
I mean, it's definitely surgery. A root canal, they're anytime power tools come into play, it's definitely surgery.
Anytime power tools come on you, it's surgery.
Every time power tools, I don't want to work anymore. I'm going home.
Okay, so I guess technically yes. Then if we're
But
counting
just
a
a
root canal. I had stitches and broken bones and shit, but never surgery. Like I would say surgery is like under anesthesia. Yeah.
Well, it depends on what timeline you live in.
True.
So I did a little bit of research on some history. You know, I like a little bit of history of where things came from and this and that.
Hey, your notebook's orange.
My notebook is orange. Yeah, I know.
He complains about it every day.
I don't like that's why I fold it so I can't see it. The question is this. Is surgery funny?
Yes.
No.
What about this story? Tyler, tell me if this story is funny.
Okay.
I had a relative that had a rubber glove left inside of them.
Is
that funny?
Sucks. They probably got paid really well though, so yeah, it could be funny.
So I think all the listeners know that I'm a mechanic. It kind of reminds me, this rubber glove, you leave a rubber glove inside somebody. It kind of reminds me of the time I was working on a fleet of ground maintenance equipment, and I left a blue paper towel inside the intake of a Toro zero-turn lawnmower.
Oh,
You
good
know,
God.
it's just a common mistake. You just leave stuff sometimes. you know?
Yeah.
And when I tried to start this engine, it wouldn't start and it sounded kind of crazy. And then it finally fired, and there was just like pieces of burning blue paper towel everywhere in the room. My question is, when this person who was a female took a shit, do you think that the rubber glove was in pieces, or do you think she just like shat out a full rubber glove?
Oh, a full rubber glove.
You think it like contained the...
Did the shit
shit?
get in the rubber glove, or was it just like wrapped around?
I think it was
the
just
turd?
surrounded. Like, you know, like when a dog shits after they eat something they're not supposed to, and it's like wrapped around the turd.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
rubber glove was like
Probably. It probably
Constricting the
cycled
turd.
through.
Old fucking rope situation,
dude,
huh?
if that turd was alive, it would have been choked out by a black belt,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what color the rubber glove was, maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
If somebody left a rubber glove inside me, I'd fucking come.
Would you?
wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
Well,
Hey, I got these box of rubber gloves. Do you want to put a rubber glove on real quick and test that theory as a band?
Yes.
You're not in the band.
Yes. All right.
I've had surgery. Brian, have you had surgery?
No, I've never.
You never had surgery?
No.
I thought you just got like dental surgery or something.
No, I've had like fillings and stuff.
That's surgery.
What?
Dude, the drill came out.
Okay, well then,
What is
yeah, I
that? A
guess.
walk in a park? A
Yeah.
nap? What do you call that? Yoga?
Yeah, I call it yoga.
Yeah, I'm going
what
to the
about
dentist to do some yoga.
what about your penis extension? That's surgery.
It was a penis reduction. Thank you. No, but if I do, I would definitely be looking
Highly
for
unlikely.
the first surgery that I would probably be looking towards is I've always wanted better eyesight, you know? So I've been looking into osteodonto keratoprosthesis.
Is that a death metal album?
It sounds like Hog Slammer a little bit, but go ahead.
So this procedure, osteodonto keratoprosthesis, is the process of them removing a. Let me read this a little bit. Okay?
Go ahead.
This might be my favorite surgery
You
on
can
the
read,
planet.
bro. I believe in you.
In this procedure, a patient's
Believe.
tooth is used as a lens implant to restore vision. Performed in the 19th century
Pause.
when artificial
Wait,
lenses.
pause?
Huh?
What?
A patient's tooth is used as a lens implant to
Their
restore
chompers
vision.
let them see?
Yeah. So it started in the 19th century when artificial lenses were not available.
This sounds like a racist person. We're like, put a tooth in my eye.
This is real.
I only want to see white.
I got images on the screen currently of this procedure that they still do. It's very interesting.
Bro, that looks graphic.
Yeah, it is.
So they take a piece of the tooth.
So it includes the removal of a tooth from the patient or a donor. After removal, a longitudinal lamina is cut from the tooth and a hole is drilled perpendicular to the lamina. The hole is then fitted with a cylindrical lens. The lamina is grown in the patient's cheek for a period of months and then is implanted upon the eye. So a tiny sliver of tooth is drilled and fitted with a lens in order to replace the full lens of your eye.
But how does it focus?
I couldn't tell you. They do this for
Science.
Yeah,
That
they do
tooth
this for
does not move, bro.
for very far gone vision patients.
Dude, this guy on the screen right here with the fucking bullet hole for an eyeball is probably the fucking Finnish sniper that fucking shot 900 people in World War One. He was like, I don't need a scope. You know what I mean?
I couldn't tell
I
you,
see
dude.
one thing 900 times.
It's a little wild, you know. It's been around for
Osteoodontokeratopro. Well,
osteodonto keratoprosthesis. Yeah.
Osteodontokeratoprosthesis.
It's been around for over 50 years, and it still remains the choice for vision surgery for end-stage corneal blindness. So, like, super, super, super bad cataracts, I'd assume that means. Yeah, but it's end-stage. Like, this is not the thing that they go to for, like, the beginning. This isn't LASIK.
Could you imagine that when you go to the doctor, like, man, I'm just not seeing well anymore. And they're like, you're not seeing good? I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, open your fucking mouth. You know?
Yeah.
Let me get that fucking chomper out of there.
I'm going to need a molar.
I 100% it was going to be a colorblind surgery.
I thought for sure it was going to be colorblind because of, you know,
for sure.
T-Dog over here.
No, I hadn't found one of those.
Yeah.
Well,
That sounds like witchcraft, dude.
little
One tooth of human, one eye of newt. We grind it up, make a paste, put it in a cloth, and put it on your eye. And next thing you know, you have an eye that looks like the fucking hit marker on Call of Duty.
yeah, it looks pretty rough, dude. Got any other fun stories?
Well, I just kind of went into the history of surgery, but first I need a piss break. Sorry.
Yes, boy.
Oi!
We're back.
And we're back. Tooth in the eye. That's a real thing. You can have a tooth in your eye if you want to see better and you want to have a hit marker for an eyeball.
I'm getting it tomorrow.
Dude, my thing is like, could I have a left eye that's like zoomy? Like zoom in or not? And then my right eye is like, oh,
Night
we're just
vision?
hanging out. You know what I mean?
Or like a night vision.
Night
eye?
vision would be sick.
Obviously, zoom with night vision. Why would I not, dude? My left eye is going to be super badass. My right eye is going to connect with people that I love. You know what I mean? So if I look at you with my right eye, it means, hey, man, me and you.
We fuck.
It's like a cyborg.
But if I look at you with my left eye, you better put a vest on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to get your ass, dude. You know what I'm saying?
I got sharks with laser beams.
If I look at you with my right eye, I'm trying to take a shower with you. All I'm saying is this, dude.
Close your fucking right eye.
History of surgery. Dude, your right eye's gay, dude. We like your left eye.
Why do you have an eye patch over your right eye?
Well, you know, if I see somebody that I like, I get excited.
Bow, 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 bow.
I can feel it now.
Oh, God.
Surgery. What is it?
What
the
is
fuck
it?
even is surgery, dude?
What is it?
Torture to some. But
Aphrodisiac to others.
Yeah, pleasure to others.
I've seen that. You know, the old... Never mind.
The old ball and scalpel.
Let's talk about the history of surgery. Because when I was researching this, the timeline is what blew me away.
Okay.
History of surgery. The first surgery was like the norm. Sutures / stitches, you know, you're sewing somebody shut. Amputations, if, you know.
But with no numbing.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay. No numbing. We didn't, you know, whiskey. That's what you get. have a shot.
Get real drunk.
You know, if you're fucking your
Then
fucking
bleed
foot
out.
got infected, you know, like your foot's done, dude. We got to cut it off. It's getting into your bloodstream. Draining and cauterizing open wounds, you know? Like if you got a big fat like pus ball, you got to stab it and then burn it with a fire.
That's hot.
That's pretty crazy. Speaking of like poking a hole and draining, in the Neolithic period, they would drill holes in people's heads to relieve headaches.
Yeah, lobotomy, isn't it?
No, the lobotomy is a psychological, I don't even want to say solution, but idea. The lobotomy is a metal rod going from the nose, going up into the brain. And we'll cover that later. That's such a juicy fucking.
So fucking why?
There's too much juice on that.
So they were just like, oh, your head hurts. You got pressure right about here.
Well, you know when you smash your nail, you can poke a hole in it with a hot wire.
Yeah.
And it's just like comes a little bit, and then you're like, ugh.
Well, 100%, the brain to my left has definitely had a rod in him.
Well, I'm on his left. So thanks, buddy.
You got a piece of metal stuck in your head?
No, him. I said
saved
brain
me.
has had a rod in him.
Sorry, guys.
God, get with the fucking program, dude.
sorry.
Yeah, you're like 5 steps back.
I have allergies, okay?
Meanie, me.
Faggot.
Can you say that on here?
Yeah.
You just can't say the other word.
No N-words. That's the rule.
Absolutely not.
All right.
They've had enough. They've had enough trials and tribulations, dude.
So that
But they have
13
good.
hours. What about 13 years a slave, dude? They deserve us not saying that.
so
They have a good work ethic.
alrighty. So you got
God,
so
we're
what
gonna
what is that procedure called where they poke the hole in the head for headaches?
Drilling holes?
Yeah.
That's what I got.
All right. Well, speaking of head
If you have a
injuries
headache,
and
we're going to
whatnot,
drill a hole.
Well, it makes sense because if you smash your little fingernail, you can poke
You got to
a hole
relieve
in
the
it.
pressure.
Yeah,
Let's-
and then it like bleeds black really bad, and then it feels better, you know?
And
So,
then they've been in Tylenol.
speaking-
Nice,
I
way
can
better.
understand why they did that, and I'm cutting brain off right now. I'm just getting so mad, and that makes me so hard in my pants, my pantalones.
I can see.
So I understand why they thought that. We're like, there's too much pressure in this head. We got to drill a hole in it. And then they drilled a hole and it bled. And those people probably, you know, got retarded, but they probably felt better. Brain, you were going to say something?
anyway,
What was it?
speaking of holes in the head, have you ever heard of a hemispherectomy?
Hemispherectomy, dude. That sounds interesting. Let me hear.
So this is a modern surgery where mostly done in children that have very, very, very severe epilepsy. This is the most common reason for this surgery.
Dude, you're already making my hands sweat. I hate children's surgery.
They open up the head and remove a section of one of their hemispheres that is causing said seizures.
Ugh.
Nuts.
Have they tried weed?
Yeah, this is for patients that have undergone near every type of treatment possible for their level of
And they
seizures.
take a piece of the fucking left half there or right half, depending on which hemisphere is acting up. You know?
Yeah, they say hemispherectomy, but it could be right, left. There could be a section on the bottom, top. This one of these images here. Don't search this, anybody, please. One of these images.
No, don't
does
listen, Brian. Search it now. You have to be educated.
It does a good.
Do you need to
show.
know?
Oh my God, that's such a massive part.
When I say big, this is an actual image, by the way.
That's a real X-ray of a fucking.
Yeah. So
They take half your brain.
It can
That's
be,
what a hemispherectomy is.
Yeah, so they can remove up to half of the brain. It can be used to treat seizures or brain tumors. Has a very high success rate.
Hold up,
believe
let
it
me
or
write
not.
that down. That sounds like a great death metal fucking song title.
Sure, I'll keep telling you. Has a very high success rate of.
What?
Yep.
No shit.
Yeah, so it is a very high or very low mortality rate. I don't know what the exact number is on that one, but the success rate for it relieving seizures is anywhere between 66 to 80%, which is fairly high, right? And this is like extreme
dude.
cases.
Have you ever seen someone have a seizure, Brian?
Yeah, I've had seizures.
You've had a seizure?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch you. Tyler, have you seen anybody have a seizure?
No.
Bro, I have a fucking story. When I was in fucking 7th grade, I had to write a book report, and I was always behind. I was always behind. I would always rip it out at the last minute, like procrastination style, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And me and 2 other people were like that. So the teacher is like 6th or 7th grade in the fucking Panhandle of Idaho. And he sent us to the other classroom that didn't have a class in it that had computers. And they were like, just fucking write your shit and finish it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. So I'm writing, right? And my buddy Cody was like looking in the screen, and he kept like sniffing like he was doing bumps. He was like, and I was like, what the fuck is going on with you? And he was like, oh, you know, the screen, you know, it makes me twitch. And I was like, that's crazy. And then he fucking flat out, dude. It was me on the left, Cody, seizure boy, in the middle, and this other kid on the right. And Cody seized up and leaned to the right, and I'm like, catch him. And the kid was so in shock that he just like stared at Cody, who, you know, became a fucking demon from the underworld for like 9 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I walked in to the other classroom, and I was like, Cody, well, I can't say his last name. I was like, Cody's having a seizure. And the teacher was like, say that again. I was like, Cody's having a seizure in the other room. And all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't catch him. The kid on the right that he leaned toward didn't catch him.
Yeah.
And his fucking head hit the fucking tile. And it was like, boom.
Yeah, that just makes it worse.
Yeah, dude. He's going to be seizing out for a minute.
It's tough, man. Yeah, when I was young.
You had seizures, bro?
Yeah, I did.
Look at us. We're getting closer.
For
as
years.
podcasters.
Yeah,
you
for
had
years.
seizures?
Years.
What did it feel like?
I remember all of them.
No. I thought you blacked out during a seizure.
You do.
Well, you don't, apparently.
You do. I
Blacked
remember
out,
all of
but
them.
you didn't?
It was like a trip, dude. It was insanity. It was possibly the scariest thing I've ever went through in my entire life. I remember the first grand mal seizure that I had.
Grandma seizure?
Grand mal.
What?
Grand, like large, and mall, as in very terrible place
Grand
with a lot of
Mall.
stalls. Yeah.
Grand as like the Grand Royale and Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Grand
That's-
Mal seizure? Is that a term?
Yes. And it's like the level of severity or something. Very severe.
That's like death metal, dude. Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah, I remember, man. It was like I was almost transported into a very weird place mentally, and I remember weird flashes occasionally of people yelling and running around. I was really young too. Like, I don't remember anything but these seizures from when I was young. I don't know, it was a scary place to be, man. I remember occasionally like feeling like my face, like having no control over my face, my hands, my feet, my arms. I remember like moving.
Did you feel like the
claymation.
muscles like flex to max cap?
Yeah, it felt like claymation is what it felt like.
Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
You were in Wallace and Gromit?
That's what it felt like my body.
Dude, you were literally Robot Chicken?
Yeah, like,
For a second?
like in claymation, how their movements are all like jerky and weird, kind of. Like, it felt like I felt every frame.
Holy shit.
It's
dude.
very
I
weird,
did not
dude.
know you ever had seizures.
Yeah, I had a bunch of small ones too, like a lot of them.
My worry wasn't seizures, it was searching seizures. That was my...
Well, yeah. The small ones were
Nightmare.
interesting because a lot of the times that just affects the face. So like when I was pretty young, single digits. I don't know how old exactly I was.
Say 9.
Sure.
Just a juicy age of 9.
Yeah. Sure. You fucker. I remember waking up in the middle of the night because something felt wrong and feeling like my whole face, like top to bottom. The only eye that worked was my left eye. I could see out of that just fine. Everything else was like weird and twitchy, felt staticky, and I had control over everything else. So I got out of I had a bunk bed at the time, and I crawled down and went into the living room where my mom was.
You were right tracking it because your left arm and left leg was just...
No, that was fine. The whole rest of my body was fine. Only in my face. Very weird, right? This was like a smaller grade. I walked out there and watched my mom freak out and be like, "Ah!" You know?
Yeah, dude.
Because apparently I looked insane.
Tyler, you got kids. Kids are terrifying at night, are they?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're the creepiest pieces of shit on the face of the earth.
What would happen if one of them...
fucking 10:30 when I'm trying to sleep and fucking baby boy's like, Dad, I'm scared. I'm like, you have no idea how fucking terrified I am right now. And now think about this. Fucking young brain comes in with a face that looks like it needs to be exercised.
Yeah, I'm talking like
with a mullet.
Like
with a mullet.
Drooling, no control over my tongue. One of my eyes is like it's going wherever
Your
it
mom
wants
was like,
to go.
I told
One
you
of them
meth was a
staying
bad
fine.
thing.
Yeah, dude, it felt
Cut
insane.
that mullet off and come back to us.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist of seizures. I actually talked to someone not long ago in family, like extended family, that they're young. It's I think she's about like 13 or so, and she has seizures. And it was interesting because since I remember every single one of them, me and her had something to talk about, you know, and it made her feel a little better. You know?
Yeah, and you were like, buckle up, the shit sucks.
Yeah. She was older than I was, you know.
Could you feel like the muscles just pulling against your bones?
Yeah, it felt like there's nothing really that you can. You've used those funny little electrical pulsing dealies that are supposed to like help relieve muscle tension over time, right, or whatever. What do you call those? Do you know what those are called?
I call that a fucking fat people layup, dude.
I know what you're talking about.
No. They got like the two little sticky pads you stick on yourself.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
and
about.
It'll like flex a tiny little muscle group. That feels eerily similar.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, except in a way smaller scale. Like, there's nothing that I've ever felt like it, you know? Because it's
Strange.
like, yeah, instead of it being like a tiny little section of muscles, it's like slightly contracting. It's like my entire bicep is like at full retract while my entire tricep is also at full retract. So it's 100% lock, and my entire forearm at the same time is at full retract in every position.
That sounds fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, what other history do you got?
So I found just a couple points that I want to bring up about kind of maybe some big discoveries and some interesting timeline points.
Okay.
Rhinoplasty was, the plastic surgery for the nose, was invented in India to fix noses that were cut off as punishment.
Cool.
Yeah. Ancient Greeks figured out that they could use wine to prevent infections during surgery. So you going in for, an appendix and you come out smelling like grapes, That's kind of sick.
That's kind of cool.
It's better than iodine. Iodine seems like an evil liquid, It's
Iodine's gross.
everything you touch, it's yellow, and it's just like this black bottle of fucking...
It's really nasty.
Satan.
Yeah.
Here's the part where I was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful to be born in this timeline. Anesthesia was created in 1840.
Yeah.
1840, dude.
That's crazy.
That's less than 200 years ago.
Yeah. Well, you could say less than 200 years ago or only, I don't know. It feels like a long time and not
like
enough time at the same time.
185 years ago
Yeah.
was when we're like, you know what? We should try to take it easy on these guys instead of just sawing their fucking legs off.
Yeah.
Fucking raw dick, no condom. You know what I mean?
Bruh. Yeah, it seems like both a long time and not enough time.
And you know what's fucking crazy?
Huh.
The late 19th century was the first time they sterilized their tools.
Wow.
We have not been doing this for long.
No.
We have not.
Wow.
Anesthesia
You say-
less than 200 years ago?
You say late 19th century?
It just said
So
no, it said late 19th century was the first time they sterilized their tools.
Like 1880?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's bitching about how home tattoos are illegal. Bro,
Yeah,
that's
and I
so
also-
100 years ago.
You know,
Dude,
I
let me
also
get a
wonder
tattoo.
if, so late 19th century. So I wonder if early 20th century, if it was commonplace to sterilize tools. You know what I mean?
It had
Like, how long did it take to be commonplace? Because back then, it's not like word traveled super fast. Okay. Telephones weren't invented until like, the telegram wasn't even invented until like 1890, right?
I'm like,
or
what are you going to do?
1910,
Fucking
something
Google
like
it?
Yeah.
Are you going to Google it? Hey, this guy's got a broken fucking tricep.
Also, how
We're going to staple it to his elbow somehow, and we're not going to clean shit.
I don't know how well it was enforced. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't, dude. There's
Right.
no way it was enforced, dude.
Well, what was the first thing you said? Something plasty?
Rhinoplasty, that's the surgery of the nose. You know what I mean? Like, that's the surgery where it's like, oh, my nose is too big. I'm going to cut it down a little bit so that I can be a sleek 10 out of 10 dimey bitch. You know what I mean?
So another augmentation surgery, rotation plasty. You ever heard of this one? This one will make you feel really good.
Why is his leg backwards?
This one will make you feel great.
What the fuck is that?
This is called rotation plasty, kids. So rotation plasty is
His foot is pointing to the back.
it's a procedure that involves rotating the patient's leg 180 degrees so the ankle becomes the knee joint. It is used to treat severe bone deformities. So there's a few different ways that they use this. So leg deformities where you cannot walk, they will amputate above the knee and above the ankle and take the piece that's above the ankle and down, so your foot and ankle, and attach it to your thigh bone.
Why? So you could live
No.
on stairs?
Then they'll flip.
Look at this picture. This guy lives on stairs.
Hold up. Then they'll flip the foot backwards.
His
That is
fucking
funny.
foot is fucking 2 feet above his other foot.
They
dude.
flip the foot backwards, the foot and ankle, to have the ankle in the same orientation as the knee so that they can then use a prosthetic with a knee joint rather than having an amputation above the knee where you have just a dead straight leg that doesn't move. So if you have to have an above the knee amputation, they will try to remove also the section from your foot to above your ankle and use your ankle as a
Yo, do you
replacement
think
knee.
these guys are just fucking around and accidentally made an excuse for why they were fucking around?
Kinda. Seems a little crazy.
You remember back in the day when you were playing Nintendo and be like, let me get to the next save point? I feel like this might be a save point.
Okay.
Or maybe they flipped it around backwards where your knee would bend like a bird or like a dinosaur, like it was reverse.
Dude, honestly, I
crazy.
feel like my fucking front teeps would be a lot stronger if my knee was backwards.
That might be one of my strangely like top 10 Family Guy moments is when that bird with the reverse legs, he's standing in the water and the little alligator tries to jump at him and he's like, oh, what are you going to do? I got reverse knees, son. I can
he
step
just
back
picked
just
his feet
real
up?
quick. Yeah, he just like jumps back real quick. He's like, I got these reverse knees. I could run away, bro. Weird, underrated Family Guy clip. Anyway.
I feel like if I had a reverse knee, because so one time I came back from a camping trip and my parents had trapped an emu from a fucking emu farm here in Oklahoma because people raise emus sometimes. There's like a big emu farm somewhere. One of them got out and got in our yard, and my parents like lassoed that bitch and put him in the dog pen. And I got back from a camping trip and this fucking emu just like stuck his head out. And I'm like, wow, I am seriously tired. And then my dad was like, you like the emu outside? I was like, oh, I thought that was an illusion. I thought that was a fucking illusion because emus in Oklahoma is crazy because those go somewhere else. You know what I mean? But the most terrifying thing about an emu and an ostrich and shit is that they take those claws and they just rip your guts out.
Oh yeah, they're
Like if you get in front of them,
crazy.
they could just claw your fucking gutty works all over the ground and you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's true.
So backwards knees may not be that bad, but
Get on it, surgeons.
A backward
Fix
knee
us.
where the foot is a foot north of the other foot.
It makes sense when you think about prosthetics.
I feel like it makes sense when you think about the Himalayas. You know, like if you live on a mountain, you can just like stand straight up and not lean anywhere. I feel like I feel like that might be a bit of an advantage, you know what I mean? But you can only face the sun one way, you know what I mean? What else you got on surgery, Brain? Oh, well, we're not going to call those people that animal because that would be terrible. There is a mountain goat that can stand on a fucking pretty much an 88-degree cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're licking salt. They like salt, dude.
Yeah, those guys are sick. I'm going to dive into your territory a little bit with some history.
My territory.
Yeah.
Surgery history. Let's hear it.
This guy, this Robert Liston. Okay. This guy looks amazing, right? He looks like he's super good at what
amazing
he does.
if you like bald people with fucking mushrooms sticking out of the top of their ears. Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy kind of paved the path for modern surgery.
Yeah, well, his hair sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's really bad. He's got the fucking mutton chops on him too, dude.
The mutton chops are dub.
They're pretty sick, dude.
It's a little motorhead right there.
A little sick. Robert Liston. He was around in the 19th century. Okay, so this is around the anesthesia time. In fact, he
Not a
performed.
chance he's doing surgery on me.
This guy, this guy performed the first public surgery with anesthetic in Britain.
Pause. Public?
Surgeries were often done in public.
Oh, just like those gangbangs on kink.com.
Yep.
It's the it's the excitement factor that makes this surgery amazing.
Or hangings. So,
Oh,
they would often do surgeries in public. Okay, but this Robert Liston, he performed.
why?
He performed the first
This guy's
public
like,
surgery.
Hey, everybody.
Look,
May 5th.
here's a picture
Yeah.
of one.
It's
or
like
a drawn out
announcing a
picture.
show.
May 5th at noon. We're about to go some fucking.
Oh, this is actually the drawn picture of him performing the first surgery with anesthetic in public.
He
So
literally
you see like
has
the
a
group of
buck
people.
knife in his hand, dude.
Yeah.
So
So
it's very sanitary.
this is before
There's
sanitation.
no sanitation
right?
unless you were Greek, and they just poured wine everywhere. They probably got so shit-faced they were like, I don't mind guts, and they just slit them open. And they're like, look, a bad black golf ball, throw it out. And it was a gallbladder. You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
he
And they
did
were like, ugh, the gods, strike me down. Sorry.
he did
Go ahead.
pave kind of the pathway for modern surgery in the sterilization aspect. That was apparently a thing that he paved. He kind of led the charge on that. He has multiple implements named after him as well in the current surgical field,
Oh, my God, that's
like
terrifying.
like the Liston knife, and there's I think they call them the boar's head pullers or something like that. They're like a set of tongs that they currently use.
For what?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm not a surgeon, but
I am a surgeon.
this guy,
To extract babies.
he had.
Surgeon.
He was mostly famous, though, for his ability to complete surgeries in an insane speed. So he would complete amputations or just other life-saving surgeries within minutes, as in 1 to 2 minutes. Very fast, okay? In fact, he worked so fast.
What does a Liston knife look at? Like an axe?
No. It's a precision tool.
The Liston
Scalpel.
knife is literally the guillotine, and you just put your arm in there and smack it off, and we're like, 2 minutes. See you later.
Let's see. Yeah, it's a
The
tool.
scalpel.
Yeah, it's some sort of scalpel.
Oh, it's a scalpel, but it's long and sharp at the point.
Yeah. Liston amputation knife.
Oh, that literally looks like a butcher knife that you get ribeyes with.
This is current, man. People use this. So he, in fact, was so fast that he had the only surgery in written record with a 300% mortality rate. So apparently,
Hey,
that is good efficiency.
listen,
Yeah, dude.
300%, dude.
There's only one patient, okay? He apparently
You operated on 3 people and all of them died.
he operated on one person, okay, at such speed that this was before all of his super
This guy looks
great
like he'd
stuff.
be a
It was a public
3/5
surgery.
agreement guy. Like 3 people out of 5 are gonna survive, and they're all white.
It was a public surgery that he had done, and apparently the patient had bled out at some point of this. He had apparently been moving too fast and stabbed his assistant and killed her on accident. And he was moving so lightning fast that he swung a knife so close to someone's face in the audience that they died of shock. Literally, on their death certificate, died of shock.
Listen, if you don't want to get in the pit, don't get in the pit. You know what I'm saying?
300% mortality rate on a
300%.
single amputation surgery.
He said, "I'm about to save everybody," and then fucking proceeds to kill 3 people accidentally.
Dude, I get in a surgery where this is pre-anesthesia, pre-sterilization, a
Well,
lot
you
of
gotta
stuff.
be fast. It's gonna be
be
loud
quick,
and annoying. You know, like owie,
Gotta be
ow.
quick.
You don't want to
That's-
hear that shit. You gotta smack it off and put the new one on.
That's why this dude was famous, right? Because he was so quick and efficient. But this was kind of like a one-off situation. It is kind of funny.
Very sloppy, dude.
It's really funny because this dude is like highly accomplished.
Tyler, I
Right,
point a gun to your head right now. Give me a drum track within 3 minutes, and it better be good. Because if it's not, 3 people are gonna die. Could you do it?
I'm saying,
I'm going straight to Entropic. Still a drum track.
Jesus.
Dude, I'm gonna do the same
I'm
thing I
saving
did
lives.
Do you got anything else?
before. As far as surgery, no.
Okay, I got one more
But
thing.
The fucking hole in the head, dude. Jesus. I would never have a headache. Like we
Yeah,
all
fuck
lie
that.
to our doctors today. Like, yeah, I have headaches because I need weed. Now it's like back then it's like I never have headaches because I want to live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So another, I don't know if this is a plasty, as in like an augmentation surgery. You've seen when people have, they get into large accidents, part of their face gets burned off or whatever, right?
Dude, car wrecks are crazy, bro.
Or whatever, or they just have like some sort of crazy birth defect that makes them look
Or
insane,
face
like
got eat off by a chimpanzee.
or that elephantitis. There's a lot of random things that can cause crazy looking faces that you might want to change. So starting in 2005, the first ever full face transplantation happened successfully. That's used loosely. Yeah. So
Okay, are we looking at before and after, or just before and also before?
nope.
They did not do a very good job.
Here's on this one here. This is before. This is a checkpoint after, and this is far after.
Holy
Sometimes
shit, dude. That
the
dude,
face
I'm pretty sure
falls
that
off.
dude is the lead singer of Creed.
He looks like it. Yeah, dude. Some of these are pretty rough, but apparently they can fully transplant a face on you, and it doesn't always take. Some of these do look like you can't tell me this doesn't look better.
That guy looks a lot better,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously it looks better.
But I would not let my kids around him.
No, me neither.
This guy looks exhausted, dude. The bags under his eyes are inflammatory.
I don't know what that is. This is the
I can't even comment on that.
this is one of the first successful on quotes one.
Looks like a fucking zombie Steve Urkel.
So they took a ghoul from Fallout and made him Steve Urkel. That's
So,
pretty sick. I mean,
guy's
I'd
name
rather
is-
be Steve Urkel than
So this is an image of Robert Chelsea. He was the first black man to have a full face transplant. I don't know exactly what happened. I believe he was in a fire
Yeah.
that burned off like nearly everything.
yeah.
And now he at least has some hair and a face that kind of functions. but I don't know. They go in and individually attach like nerves and muscles, blood cells, like everything. It's very, very tedious.
That's pretty
Takes a
sick,
long
dude.
time. It's insane,
Sounds
dude.
expensive.
Dude, that sounds almost as hard as a fucking Pantera solo, dude.
Yeah. That's wild, dude. I don't know. One of the craziest things that I seen was full
Holy
face
shit, what the fuck
transplants.
happened to that guy, dude? He was hanging out with the chimps?
I couldn't tell you, man. It's really bad. This guy literally has he's got no eyes, no eyeballs,
if I
no
saw
nose,
that as a
just
child,
a mouth
dude,
and kind of a patchy
I
beard.
would not sleep for days.
Yeah.
First, not the second. The second is like, hey, you know,
It's like, yeah, whatever.
you probably got a felony. It's all good.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know, man. A little bit crazy, though. That is my surgery research. man.
Surgery's fucking nuts, dude.
It's insane. The
So,
things that people
Tyler,
can do.
you haven't really had any like big surgeries. I've got like ingrown toenails and like dental surgery. And
I've
that
had
shit.
ingrown toenail surgery. Now that I think about it,
God, that shit sucks ass.
they give you like 10 shots in your toe, and the shots are horrible.
What? Dude, my ingrown toenail surgery was the first time my mother ever heard me say the F word, and I was 12. And she was still like, hey, relax. Because for some reason, local anesthetics end with cane.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another drug that starts with co. And if you're used to it, the cane part doesn't work so well. Lidocaine, co, fill in the fucking blank.
Huh.
Yeah, so they fucking shot my foot up and I felt everything. And that shit was, and I said fuck in front of my mom. And she was like, don't say that. I was like, don't you understand what I'm going through right now?
Yeah.
You're like, leave the room.
I was 12 years old. They put
It's funny that you
seatbelts on my arms.
It's
dude.
funny that you say that because when I got my root canal, like 3 shots in there, like, can you still feel this? And I was like, yep. And they're like, we legally cannot give you any more. And I'm like, I understand.
Well,
Let's just go.
illegally had a good time.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
I'm like, my body knows what this is.
Yeah, please, dude. Fucking pump some more in there. Don't be a bitch, dude. Bird up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fucking
I'll be
bird up,
okay.
dude.
I'll be okay. Just fucking.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, the most painful thing I've seen, like in the medical field, was the femur snap. And I've never seen a real femur snap in my life, but I know how to treat it. And we had the mechanisms to set that bone on the ship when I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And it's literally a tube that goes on your leg and pulls your foot down.
Oh, yeah.
And it pulls your foot down hard. Like, we put it on each other just for training purposes. And as soon as it got to like 4%, I felt my knee coming out. Like, I felt my knee like being not where it's supposed to be. And I was like, stop, you know? And
Oh, God.
because of like the quads and the hamstrings are so tight, when that bitch snaps, it just fucking sends bone to bone, side to side, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to pull it. And I was like, oh my God, dude.
I'll tell you the second worst pain that I've ever felt in my life is when I got my vasectomy.
Well, tell us about that.
And that motherfucker.
That's a surgery.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
a massive surgery.
That's a surgery, dude.
Yeah. I've had surgeries in.
Pause it real quick. I gotta piss.
Yes, boy. And we're back. Let's hear about your balls.
We're back. So you got a vasectomy, which means they pretty much sever the pathways between the nuts and the tip of the weenie, right? Or did they cut your balls out? Do you have an empty sack right now?
No, I have balls.
Okay. Well, I'm not like metaphorically. I know you have balls. I know you're a tough guy, but like
No, I have real balls.
you also have real balls. Okay.
I'll show you off air. No, so they just they got onto the one side, and they cut a section out of the tube, and then they clamp it and they burn it. You can smell it, right? Because you're awake.
Why?
You're awake.
They started
okay?
doing anesthesia in the late 19th century. Why can't you go to sleep?
No, the shot is the shittiest part.
God,
so,
that's a
anyways,
lot of
he gets
fucking
done.
Penis on the screen right now.
He gets done with it, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, dude, it's over.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, all right, now I got to do the other side, and I'm like, the other side, and he's like, yes,
You couldn't go through the same hole in the fucking sack skin?
dude. I don't know. So they fucking
That
No, it's the same
seems-
hole. I think it's the same hole, but they just gotta go over.
like,
I don't
do
fucking
the
know.
other-
Dude, I was not watching.
Yeah.
100%. I was not watching. So he got to the other side.
Why do they always make medical diagrams of white people? What about blacks and Mexicans?
Listen, they got to the other side a little before the anesthesia kicked in on the other side. And I bet my fingerprints are still on that fucking table. It was like the worst.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It felt like,
So the second snip was worse?
ooh, yeah, dude. Yeah. So you got to the
wouldn't
other
expect
side, and I was just like on the ceiling.
You know, I was thinking about a
For like
vasectomy,
10
but
seconds.
now I think being a fucking, you know, sperm donor doesn't seem that bad, dude. I don't think I'm going to do that.
I would say
Have kids.
one of the best decisions of my life, though.
Really?
Fuck, dude. Yeah, dude.
Why?
There's no worry. Like after a drunk night, you're like, oh, fuck. Did I?
Being
There's also another option.
being old, married. I mean,
There's an option for a
You just
vasectomy.
fall
It's
asleep
called
in it now.
going to get some milk. Maybe you should have done that.
Yeah. I got the kids to prove my pull-out game
So,
was never strong. So,
you dog.
I know, but it's just so fun.
Yo, if you're not hitting free throws, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just shoot the club.
So when I
up.
heard vasectomy, I was like, oh, dude, they cut his nuts off,
Nah.
which is not quite what happened. Brain, pull up the video. It's called Nuts in the Gmail. I thought this is exactly what was happening. And Tyler, you can explain the video to the audience if you don't mind. I'll explain it
Okay.
if you don't like it.
Okay. I'm not sure why he has that in his mouth. I'm not 100% sure what was going on right now.
Talk us through that.
That's not how mine was.
Play the video.
I don't
again.
understand
I think
that.
you need. I think you need to watch it again. He has two nuts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's
Something in his mouth, like a
he's
barrel.
shoving raw testicles in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
To beautiful classical music, which are the Yellow Balls and Guitar Hero for Real. Guitar Hero for Real.
what's the point of this?
So did he not? The doctor didn't eat the nuts raw.
No, but that'd been cool if he
Okay.
would have.
Well, it was just a question. I figured he was a doctor. He has the, the doctor
Bruh.
suit and a face mask on, and he was just shoving
Read this comment.
testicles in his mouth. The comment from Uza says, Neff edits. Someone noticed that he has half a beard. Yeah, we didn't, dude.
Did you notice that?
Absolutely not. Because he was shoving raw testicles in his mouth.
He does. He's got his right half of his beard and mustache is just completely clean shaven. The left half is all the way there.
It's crazy, man.
That's weird.
The dichotomy of mankind, dude. The dichotomy of humans.
What
you
is-
think the left half or the right half enjoyed it? Shoving raw testicles in his mouth.
I don't know which one happened first for you, Ty.
Let's talk about the size of the
Oh, they
testicles.
definitely did the right side first.
Okay, so the right side probably was.
People with beards
more
eat
enjoyment.
testicles. Is that what we're talking about right now?
Yeah.
I think it's more people with curly mustaches.
This guy doesn't have a curly mustache. He kind
I
of,
don't.
Yeah, but he's an Arab, and I think, Tyler, you may be hinting towards the Israel-Hamas conflict. Do you think this guy is on Israel's side or the Palestinian side when he's eating raw nuts? Which side do you think eats raw nuts as a
Like-
band?
Probably Palestinian, probably.
Strong opinion, and I respect that. Let's talk about the size of the testicles that this guy just shoved into his mouth.
they were huge, dude.
Yeah, but they weren't like goat balls.
They were like squirrel sized, dude.
What?
Like squirrel nut sized.
Those are way bigger.
A strong male squirrel nut, big balls, dude.
They're scary.
Big
They'll-
balls.
They'll make you question yourself.
Those are the stinky boys, dude. If you shoot them, you try to eat them, those stink. You can't eat the If he's got big nuts, let that boy fuck, dude.
That's not how you spell squirrel butt.
I don't know what happened. I'll say it's the keyboard's
Oh,
fault.
he's got his nuts stuck in the trellis. That sucks, dude. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, I do too.
I would say.
Whoa.
You know what has big nuts, and that's pigs.
Pigs have
Pigs have
massive
some huge nuts.
Dude, what was that fucking barely hairy chimpanzee with the giant fucking nuts? Holy shit, dude. Those are little squirrel nuts, dude. Dude, why are squirrel nuts the size of human nuts, dude? What fucking testicles was this man eating raw?
I don't know, bro.
What size testicles was this Palestinian shoving into his mouth?
Maybe a goat.
We don't know.
Yeah, they're like
Probably
goat.
goats.
I mean, I guess they could be.
No, dude,
Like
goat
calf
nuts
nuts.
are like the size of a teacup, bro.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Goat nuts are like, do you want to play softball today? Do you want to underhand throw to the bat? That's goat's nuts, dude. I feel like,
Could be sheep too, I guess.
you know, I mean, sheep nuts are kind of like, you know, fastball style,
Oh.
you know. And there's elephant nuts, which are...
Anyway, onto our game. Rank these nuts.
Rank these nuts, dude.
Actually,
Welcome to the next section.
do elephants have big nuts? I've never actually seen elephant nuts.
Well, if an elephant never forgets, that means it never forget every single time it nutted, so... Big fucking nuts. Oh, way.
Pretty big.
They look rather large.
Thor, come inside. Come here. Mascot for the pod.
Here we go.
That's not real.
No, it's not. It's
You
just
know, the
a
mascot we used to call Chief Red Nuts because he is a red pit bull and his nuts are very red and very big.
Probably just needs a girlfriend and get him emptied.
Yep.
Did I tell you that story? The first time and the last time Thor fucked? I didn't tell you that?
No.
All right. So I'm not like super country, right? So fucking to me was in and out, bang, get an Uber. You know what I mean? And I didn't know animals really did it differently. I thought it maybe was like one or two thrusts and then bust, you know? Dogs fuck a little differently. I was like, Thor is horny and he needs a girlfriend. For those of you listening, Thor is the mascot of this project. He's a pit bull. He has big red nuts. That's why he called him Chief Red Nuts. If you didn't catch on, I'm sorry.
He's a red nut pit.
He's a red nut pit. I want a blue nut pit someday, but he's a red nut. Well, for some reason, dogs' fucking weenies get stuck inside the punani.
I've read that can happen.
Yeah. So they're like asshole to asshole, and the wiener is like pointed down into the punani. And I panicked and I grabbed Thor and I was like, oh my God, I'll save you. And I'm like pulling him and his wiener's stretching out. And then my country friend was like, stop. That shit will calm down in a minute, brother. I was like, it's been 5 minutes. I was pulling on Thor's hips. He was crying.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
It like hooks in there.
Yeah, dude. It's like a butt plug from hell. It blows up, dude. Yeah, I didn't know that. Anyway, I grabbed my dog's hips and I pulled him and he cried and I didn't know what to do. And my country friend was like, hey, brother, this is fine.
It'll be all right.
This sounds fucking horrible. This looks horrible. There's weird juice dripping onto my kitchen floor. Yeah, they fucked in the kitchen. It was strange. Well, I wanted a puppy of him. I wanted a small version of him.
Yeah.
You know, because he's old. He's going to die. But I didn't know the cost I had to pay. And so I grabbed his hips and I pulled.
Do you know that
Thor's like, that's the last time I'm putting my dick in anything.
Bro, it looked like a Sour Patch Kid got microwaved, dude. That bitch stretched out. And he cried. And I was like, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know that y'all fucked like this. And I just stand asshole to asshole looking around, terrified.
You're like, I thought it was just doggy style.
Like, yeah, doggy style, I thought. That's how it started. And then it went different, dude.
Do you know if you wanted a tiny version of your dog to raise up again, you could just clone your current dog for a number of millions of dollars?
No, we don't do clones. We don't do clones. Listen, man, I know I've said this about chimpanzees and monkeys. We don't do that. Right? They're trouble. They're too smart.
Uh-huh.
They'll open all your drawers. They throw your plates on the ground. They steal your food.
They'll
Remember
eat your
that
face off.
fucking report we did where those monkeys in India would take tourists' phones and get up on the fucking house until they paid them?
Yeah.
We don't do that. We want to be the big dog in here. You know what I mean? So we don't do monkeys, and clones are like a first second, dude.
So you can clone your dog for enough money.
Yeah, dude. And I can buy a fucking set of clays at Academy for $20. Same treatment, dog. Not a chance. Just have a clone Thor. Can you imagine that?
Did you know people do that, though?
You're like, you used to let me fuck.
People
you
do that.
used to let me into bed. I know I'm allowed here. I'm like, hey, man. You're just a copy. Let's move on to the next
Hell
topic,
yeah.
dude.
Oh, yeah? Oh, brother.
We got a bit of a strange news this week. Not a whole lot of news, but there's an earthquake in Myanmar. Did you see the earthquake videos?
I don't even know where Myanmar is.
No, I have no idea.
Oh. Well, people had like pools on the top of skyscrapers and water was coming out. That's how bad the earthquake was. It killed 1,600 people. Pretty crazy.
Interesting.
In other news, someone stole 80,000 pounds of beef from a Tennessee slaughterhouse.
Wow, that had to take some time.
80,000 pounds?
80,000 pounds of beef. So I would expect soup prices to go up. The CEO of Superior Health was found hiring private investigators to dig up dirt on people, including customers and government lobbyists. In an interview, he said he was just happy he got fired instead of being shot point blank outside. And I'm happy for him.
He really dodged a bullet on that one.
Nobody deserves to be shot point blank, even if your decisions lead to the death of...
Unless you want to do it on your own.
Never cross a plumber's brother.
Why?
Hmm?
A plumber's brother?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mario.
Oh,
You're really killing it today.
fucking solid. Got any more news? Do we got any more news for this stupid fucking podcast?
I don't.
Why the
I don't
fuck
have
would this dickhead hire private investigators to look into his customers? That's my question.
It's a little bit outrageous, man.
After what happened,
Yeah.
you'd think they'd learn.
Take a hint.
We don't like when you do that.
Yeah.
And if you go too hard, we won't have anything to lose, okay?
Some may say that, yeah.
I swear to God, if my mom had cancer. Hey, do you guys like eating pussy?
I'm a fan.
You're a fan, Tyler?
Oh,
You're a
yeah.
fan?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yeah.
It's not too bad. I've been around a little bit. You ever go down and you're like, oh, man, I made the wrong choice.
Never. I'm a savage.
You're a fucking...
Whoa.
This is death metal fucking incarnate right here. What about you, Brian? You ever went down and you're like, the option to pull back is
No, I don't
null
think
and
so.
void, but
No. I'm not a savage. I'm just smart.
If you're, you gotta make good decisions.
hey, one time I went down on
You
a
gotta
pussy
read the
that-
room.
One time I went down on a pussy that was so hairy, I thought it conspired to find WMDs in Iraq.
You're a fucking idiot.
I started calling it George.
It's like a mammoth.
It didn't last long after that.
It's like a mammoth pussy.
You're an idiot.
It's probably just like that dude that got raped by that Sasquatch the other
I
day.
got so much hair stuck in my teeth right now.
Yeah, for real. So much.
Yeah, I got so much hair stuck in my teeth.
He blew his load.
It's like having a second beard.
Bro, it was all biological, dude. And I'll use that excuse in court, dude.
Brother.
So, you guys are at the precipice of being on the road. Entropic
Yeah, hopefully.
is pretty much, if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you guys don't have a bus.
No.
Well, there's really only two options, right? You can get a hotel at the Super 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can run the shower out of hot water. You can eat all the mints. There's only 2 coffee packs. That shit sucks. Or you can get an Airbnb.
Oh.
Right? Have you stayed in an Airbnb before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. What are you, Brian?
Yeah, I've stayed in Airbnbs. I don't use Airbnb as much as I use Verbo, but same thing.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
It's probably owned both by China.
Probably.
And the property's probably owned by China as well. Here's the thing about Airbnb to me. I'm just going to lay it out because this is exactly what's happening. Somebody has a house in their possession and they want to charge you to stay there. Right?
And video you.
Possibility. Big possibility. Because Airbnb doesn't have physical people. It's just an app, right?
Right.
So if you check all the boxes, then congratulations, you have an Airbnb. We could turn this room into an Airbnb, right?
Uh-huh.
How many times do you think cameras inside have filmed people having sex? And how many perverts are in the business of Airbnb?
It's like, surprise, you got an Airbnb, and why am I on Pornhub?
Dude, that'd be nuts.
Think about it, though.
Yeah.
Jared from Subway gets out. He's tired of getting butt raped.
He's about to get out.
He wants to do the butt raping. And there's an app that you can sign up for and invite people to sleep and take showers in your house. And you make money? I don't know how much money cold cuts make, but he could probably use a little bit of money, you know.
Yeah, he probably lost all his money on lawyers.
Well, he probably lost all of his money on ramen when those black guys said, "Hey,
Give it up.
welcome to lockup."
This is true, too.
That's kind of how that happens.
Yeah.
And by the way, it doesn't have to be black. It could be white guys too. You know, and pretty much
Could be
guys.
anything, yeah.
Weenie's rape, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. Weenies and female Sasquatches.
If anyone deserves it, it would
It
be.
was all biological. That wasn't rape, dude.
Mm.
It was all biological. So I don't know how much money Cold Cuts makes, but I could definitely see somebody with big plans opening up an Airbnb. And I've stayed in a lot of Airbnbs. And honestly, most of the time, it was awesome.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good experiences.
It was really awesome.
I found a story
About Airbnb?
about an Airbnb.
Let's hear it, bro.
Speaking of spying on naked people.
This is a personal story?
Yes, this is from the perspective of a host, okay? So I'll just be the host.
Oh,
in this
you're
story.
not.
I'm not. I've never hosted
not
an
the
Airbnb.
host,
So you were never on Pornhub.
So it's
No.
not
Never.
personal, and that's what I asked, and you ignored me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just pretend
Moving
to be
on.
the guest.
Moving
okay?
on.
So
You can start now.
I rented this Airbnb to a pilot that was coming through town. It's going to be here for a couple days for his return in flight, right? Real nice dude. I drive by the house in the evening and notice that his car is parked in a ticketing area because they're going to do street sweeping tonight.
Mm.
Easy problem. Easy solution.
The same people that arrested Jared from Subway?
No. Easy problem, easy solution. I walk up to the door, give it a rap. Just want to let them know, hey man, your car will probably get a ticket. If you leave it there, you might want to move it.
You knock on the door and you're like, yo, the Fed's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fed's watching. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Pilot opens the door in his underwear, drink in his hand. Like, that's interesting.
No, that's normal, bro.
And as I look behind him, there's two other naked people running around the room, drinking, dancing, completely butt-ass naked.
That's so sick.
I deliver the news, say, hey man, you're probably going to get a ticket. You might want to move your car. And the naked people come running up to the door and invite me in. So I politely decline.
I'm going in.
I politely decline and walk away.
Stop,
and he moves his car in his underwear. It's a very interesting scenario. And I feel like a scenario that probably would happen very often in Airbnbs.
I've fucked in a couple of Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of magical a little bit, you know? Like, you get there, and it's not a hotel.
Yeah.
Like, you know what?
It's fun fucking in different places.
Dude, for one, 100% true.
Yes.
But also, to not have that bullshit Ion TV and 2 queen beds, you get in someone's house, you're like, wow, $200 a night? I'm about to fucking nut everywhere, dude. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know unless they have cameras. And if they do have cameras, you know, call the Texas Hammer, call a lawyer or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing I do before I go into Airbnb is just in case I shave my bush down to make it look porn star for real, just in case, because, you know, I ain't packing.
Just in case you're being recorded.
But I want it to look good. You know what I mean?
Don't want to be caught lacking.
Yeah, dude, I don't want to be caught lacking. So I always shave my bush before going into an Airbnb just in case. You know what I mean?
Got to make sure.
Yeah, dude, I don't want some rumors going around that I have a fucking small weenie, you know?
When your dad pulls you aside and says, son,
what have you done with your life?
I seen you on Pornhub the other night. And you weren't very well trimmed.
You know, son, I would have been proud
Tighten
of that.
up.
I would have been proud of that double slam doggy style, but you just didn't show up to play, did you? You just didn't show up to the game.
Yeah, is that what you really want? You want your dad disappointed in you?
You want your dad just looking at you with a smile that he has to force because you're his son and he knows that he needs to support you, but deep on the inside, you both know you just didn't show up to play.
You didn't have the right uniform for
You
him.
didn't show up to the game. You weren't trying. You thought you could
weren't
free
even
ball,
wearing the
dude.
uniform.
You thought you could be lazy. You thought you could just show up and fuck on camera, no holds barred. But everybody knows, and especially your father.
Especially your dad. Your dad knows.
You just didn't fucking show up with the right stuff, did you, dude? You may have caught the ball, but it was ugly, and we both know that you don't deserve this scholarship.
She didn't shave as well, and then all you just see is a bundle of hair.
Anyway, yeah, I shave my fucking pews before I go to Airbnb, just in case it gets anywhere. And everyone's like, ew, you were fucking. I'm like, yeah, but I was fucking with style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's so much hair, it looks like it's censored.
And that's a fucking issue, dude. Because let me tell you right now, when I look up hentai and there's some fucking cubes on the screen, soft dick, dude.
Skipping it.
Skip, dude. Skip that shit, dude. But listen, dude, pilots, I feel like pilots are the last rock stars of the real era.
They're just hanging out.
Because they're like, hey, fly this plane and be safe. And they're like, well, I'm going to need some R&R. Or I'm going to fucking push down on the sticks and I'm going to
Yeah.
bankrupt your company. Okay.
Yeah.
So you better have some fucking thoughts up in that Airbnb.
They're
and if
definitely-
the camera ain't rolling, you're fucked, dude.
Yeah. They're definitely in control of a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's what's funny about flying. When they're like, hey, put your seatbelt on. You're like, for fucking what?
Just in case there's fucking WMDs in Iraq, dude.
Again, back to
Put a
fucking.
seatbelt on for what?
Again,
Dude,
back
if
to
those
Family
people
Guy.
in those airplanes put their seatbelts on, 9/11 wouldn't have happened, okay?
Well,
But somebody had to make a fucking phone call and take it off of airplane mode. And now look,
did you guys see the
20 years of war for no reason.
there's a again another Family Guy episode where a plane's getting hijacked. Quagmire's the pilot,
Oh.
Oh, yeah, he is a pilot in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the hijacker's up in the cockpit with him, telling him where to fly the plane to. He's like, "No comms. I'm finally gonna make you crash into blah 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 blah." And Quagmire slips on the seatbelt sign real quick, buckles his seatbelt while the dude's talking shit to him, and then randomly does like a giant barrel roll in like a 747. And he'd left the seatbelt side on for like a little bit, you know, like everyone should have seen it, you know. Killed the dude next to him, the hijacker, and he's like, "Yes, I did it." Puts it back on autopilot, walks out, and everyone's dead in the capsule because nobody put their seatbelt on.
Well,
What
and the
about
problem is MacBooks are solid metal, so when those things fucking go haywire, it was much like me earlier when I headbutted a 32-ounce banquet accidentally because the dogs are going wild.
What about the video of the dude that actually did hijack a 747? He was by himself though,
Oh no!
and he was taking it for a spin, and he did a fucking barrel roll.
I know who you're talking about, man. I feel fucking terrible.
It didn't end well.
Yeah, well, did he die or did he go to prison?
Oh, I think he died.
Didn't he got shot on his way out of the plane? No, something weird.
I'm not 100% sure, but I
He
know
was
who
so
you're talking
cool
about.
though. I mean, he was so cool. Like,
Yeah, he was on comms with the tower, and he was like, "Listen, man, life's not going well. I just wanted to fly, and I
Yeah.
played enough video games that I know how to do this.
Yeah.
because you guys think you're smart, but Xbox rules. So
yeah.
and he
he's
got
like,
in the plane, and he was like, I think I'm gonna try to do a barrel roll." And he fucking barrel rolled, and he was like, "Wow, I can't believe that worked." And then the negotiator from the FBI was like, "Hey, man, everything's gonna be okay when you fucking just land it. Try to be as safe as possible." There was no people with him.
no, there wasn't. Yeah, no.
He landed, and
He did land.
yeah, he landed
Oh.
safely. I think maybe.
I feel like I remember that, and I feel like that is true.
It wasn't that long ago.
I feel like
But there's like people's videos from their house.
Yeah,
Like, why
yeah.
is this plane so low?
Oh yeah,
Like, why is this plane in this region?
yeah. Well, he was playing fucking flight simulator in real life, dude.
He was having fun.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy because I've listened to the fucking audio tracks from that. I'm like, damn, dude, this guy is just
Dying
He
inside.
just wants to escape, you know. He just wants to escape. He should have fucking played guitar, you know.
that'll do it.
But he didn't, and so he stole a plane. And did he get shot upon exit? We will never know. Did JFK get shot? I don't know. The files are out there, but I'll tell you right now, I've been there, and I fucking doubt it. I'll tell you that right now. Besides that, let's keep talking about Airbnbs.
That was-
All right.
Sorry for the breakneck change of pace. I'm going from the people who pay to rent Airbnbs.
Okay.
That's my side here.
I got some stories on the hosts.
And this woman rented the lower half of a house, and her husband were like passed out in the bed. And at fucking 6 a.m., the host's 7-year-old woke the couple up by crawling into bed with them.
Whoa.
Listen,
Imagine.
anybody who spent any time around me when I've been asleep, you better touch my foot and like back away because I fling around a little bit. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I fling around.
Yeah.
I'm calling fucking Tom Stowe, dude. I'm calling the fucking Texas Hammer. I'm calling a lawyer, dude. Because if I fucking see a small creature in between me and my girlfriend when I know it's not a dog, that's that elbows, dude. Because that's Satan.
Yeah.
There's Satan in bed.
Yeah. You can't be having that, dude.
You can't have
Sorry.
Satan in the bed, dude. You got to smash it immediately. There's no hesitation there. And then it happens to be, the people that rent the Airbnb and live upstairs. That could be a problem. Control your kids. Oh, I didn't even tell you about the Airbnb I went in fucking Lawton. Medicine Park?
Yeah.
Super fucking badass,
yeah.
By the way. Medicine Park is sick as fuck. But we rented an Airbnb, and there was a stairwell to the fucking second story, and there was, like, tape that was like, do not enter and shit. And I'm like, bro, turn that sign around, dude. Because if anything moves in here, no way. I'm fucking, dude, I'm high. That means I'm paranoid, and there's a gun in here. So you better watch out, dude. You better watch out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
7-year-old crawling into the bed, dude.
Fuck that, dude.
Donkey punch that bitch. Welcome to America. Mind your fucking business. Stay in your fucking mom's side of the house. That's crazy, though, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
I pay money and a 7-year-old. Could you imagine if a 7-year-old came into your fucking Super 8 motel?
No,
Gunfire immediately.
Dude,
You're the Antichrist. I have to kill you.
Immediately be terrified. What the
fucking omen.
Dude.
You're probably 32. I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? I thought that was fucking nutso, though.
The funny thing about Airbnb stories is all the stories from the host's perspective are pretty chill until it's not. So this dude rents his cabin or house or whatever to a group of people that's coming visiting from like South Africa. I don't know where they were visiting to. I'd assume in the US.
Yeah.
But
probably.
Yeah. South African group comes, rents his house for around a week or so. And they ask him on the first day, they're like, hey, can we put a fire pit in the yard? And host is like, no. So no response after that. It's all good. Whatever.
Yeah.
After their checkout, no other words. Okay. After the checkout, like I said, very chill usually. After the checkout, or at the checkout, they start messaging him asking, hey, can we get a late checkout of around 3 p.m.? Checkout's normally 10. He's like, no, I have other guests.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not really possible. Sorry. It's all good. You signed up for 10 a.m. checkout, right? Whatever. Host shows up to the house at around noon to try and get it all cleaned up and ready for the next set of guests. Finds the guests that were there gone, right? Perfect. Finds a bunch of white powder everywhere, like scattered around most of the house.
Baking soda. They were making cookies.
Okay. Very confusing. Whatever. Immediately starts.
Not confusing at all.
Yeah, confusing.
Really confusing.
Immediately starts cleaning. Calls
Wait, he didn't dip
people
his
to help
finger
clean.
in and put it on his gum line to see if it numbed it up.
House smelled really strange too. Starts cleaning up.
Did the house smell strange or did the powder smell strange?
The house. Starts cleaning up, calls extra people to help him clean up, whatever. Okay. Gets it fairly cleaned. The next group comes in. He apologizes. He's like, I don't really know what happened. People just left before you. I'm going to have a cleaning crew come back tomorrow and get this really sorted, whatever. Next guest stays for a couple nights. Cleaning crew comes in, cleans up. He comes back the day that his next guests leave, and he finds the evidence of what happened prior.
Was it lime?
It was ash.
Wow.
So apparently he found a bucket, like a metal bucket, with a bunch of charring in it and burns.
Yeah.
Inside the metal bucket, he found empty bottles of isopropyl alcohol.
Okay.
Okay. He walks out onto the back porch and finds a big old burn mark right in the center of the porch.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He grabs the vacuum to try and clean up some of the stuff that the cleaning crew had missed in like some of the smaller rooms or whatever. and the vacuum is completely plugged with ash and is completely trashed.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to vacuum ash up out
It's
of a fireplace, dude?
bad,
It clogs
dude.
the filter immediately.
Yeah,
dude.
it's bad. It was shot. They apparently didn't care about the filter and just kept it on.
It's crazy.
So apparently they just decided that they were going to have a fire in the backyard. More than likely set the little bucket on the porch, poured a bunch of isopropyl alcohol in it, started a fire, knocked it over, burned a piece of the porch, tried to put it out with 2 fire extinguishers. Some of the white stuff was fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah, potassium bicarbonate, dude.
yeah.
PKP. Yeah, we
Yes,
had
they
that.
had they had ash go everywhere. Some of that stuff go everywhere.
That shit literally does fucking go everywhere, dude.
Strange. Eh? Strange
it's kinda
smelling.
Strange. Yeah,
smelling.
dude, it smells kind of fucking
Dude.
weird.
Everything's fine until all of a sudden it's not. Airbnb host stories are interesting.
So what was the wrap up?
He was able to get him fined for however many $100 and just got it cleaned up. I
Damn,
guess.
dude, I was so hoping that there was like, and then they found a gold skull under the
No,
porch
none of that I
with
know of.
strange runes. You know what I mean?
very
That's
weird,
what I was
dude.
hoping for.
No.
I got a quote from a customer of Airbnb. We opened a drawer in the kitchen and it was full of sex toys. Now, what kind of sex toys are we talking about?
The good kind or the bad kind?
I don't know. Last episode,
There's
we
bad
talked
kinds?
about a guy who got a fork stuck in his dick hole, and it's not a sex toy to me, but it's a sex toy to some. Maybe it was just a silverware drawer.
Is it or is it
Depends on what
not
you're
sex
into.
toy?
I guess it just depends on what you're into.
Yeah, I agree.
True.
Entropic has an open mind.
True. He
yes,
speaks
yes.
for all of Entropic.
Look him up, dude. Very open mind. Is it a fork? Is it a penis? Does it matter?
Nope.
Entropic says, does it matter?
I don't think so. I'm not going to put a fork in my dick. That's 100% not going to
I'll do it for you.
I mean, I don't know. Fork seems a little aggressive, you know? Unless you were like a huge fan of the Greek ocean god, you know?
Poseidon?
Yeah. If you're like a huge Poseidon fan, you stick a fork in your penis,
Or Aquaman.
and you're like, I praise you, you know?
Oh, okay. I see where you're
know what I'm
at. Yeah. Nope.
Aquaman
Yeah. I'm following you.
flies around with a fork.
It's
Maybe you're just a huge fan of taking care of cattle, dude. It's still a sex toy.
still a sex toy.
We don't judge. We
Every
listen
time.
and we don't judge.
Or you really
okay?
like witches and you stick a broom in your ass.
I feel like that's kind of normal.
That's so fine, dude. I mean, who doesn't?
Why wouldn't you want to come and clean up at the same time?
Have you ever been? You ever?
Remember, I got a vasectomy. There's no cleanup.
You don't. Whoa.
Hang on.
Pause. Wait a minute.
You
You don't shoot ropes anymore?
Yeah, you do, but you don't pull out anymore, so there's no cleanup.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not cleanup for you, but it's cleanup for her.
Not for me.
Because they have to pee all the cum
like-
out after
it's like-
you fucking bust nuts all
It's like,
through their guts.
listen, sounds like a you problem, not a me problem.
Sorry, bust shells. There's no nut left.
Shooting blanks.
Shoot a blank in her stank. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot up the club.
Shoot,
You ever?
shoot up a school and not be a fool.
Oh God!
Get your nuts cut.
All right, we're done. You ever wanted to rent an Airbnb just to have a crazy like LSD trip or
Sex
anything?
party. What?
I wanted to run an Airbnb because I like enforcing my will upon other people. And ever since I saw Cabin in the Woods, I would really love to have an Airbnb and people show up and then just psychologically ruin them to the point of divorce, alimony, lawsuits. What else is bad in America other than those three?
That's it. Nothing else.
Racism.
Deportation, you know. What else? What else could be really great?
So, speaking of cabin in the wood, host rents their cabin for around a week to, I I don't know if it was one or two people. They didn't specify. One or a group of people.
Okay, so
Silent.
anybody,
Yeah. Either a group or a single, whatever.
obviously.
A silent guest, as in they checked in, they checked out. Nothing in the middle. No complaints.
Ooh, yeah,
right?
Okay, I feel you.
Okay.
And it's Ted Bundy.
I'm guilty of that, right? And
No,
I don't
that's
think there's
not
nothing.
a sin.
I don't think there's nothing to be
literally
guilty.
Exactly
there.
how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I think it's
He's like,
fine.
I have a house. Do you want to stay? Pay me money.
Right.
Don't ruin anything. Bye. Excellent.
Yeah. I don't.
There's no guilt there. You don't have to be guilty
No.
of being a good.
I guess guilty wasn't the word, but you know what I'm getting at. Like I've done that, right? Because that's the way that it's supposed to be done.
Airbnb like a grown up.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Silent guest. They get there to clean up right afterwards, and they walk in and find Post-it notes all over the place.
I'm just getting mad already.
They're like, "What in the fuck is happening?"
Post-it notes from the guest.
All over ceiling, walls, floors, furniture, every room, everywhere. Okay.
I don't even like Post-it notes, dude. And you know what?
They start reading the Post-it notes.
don't
Okay.
like-
They're all written on, by the way. Every one of them.
No. What is that thing where you do something and you run away and hide?
Hiding and
Passive
seek.
aggressive. Yeah. Let me tell you what makes me more mad than anything in the world is passive aggressiveness in the form of a Post-it note. That is pretty much my seventh circle.
Well, so a bunch of these notes, they wrote down what a few of them said. A lot of them were repeating. Apparently, this cabin had a small little like pond or whatever, right?
Yeah, sick, dude.
And
Sick.
it was really neat, right? I rented one like that and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was fun.
Some of the notes were just talking about the sky and how pretty it was, or the grass, or the trees, or the water. And then it started getting into seeing reflections in the water. And then it started getting into being scared of the reflections in the water. And then it turned into, "Where's Jenny?" In all caps.
Ooh.
On hundreds. And a lot of them were related to this. They never heard anything from the guest. They messaged the guest to ask them if they were okay. Nothing. They never heard anything back.
So
they never
how
got a
we knew who
review.
Jenny was.
They never got a note. They don't know who the fuck Jenny was. Apparently, Jenny was not the person that rented the place. And they said to this day, I don't know how long ago this was, but they say to this day, they still find Post-it notes in a random cupboard underneath a pan. Or shit like that. Just randomly, they'll find Post-it notes everywhere. Let me see what else they wrote.
Where's Jenny?
Yeah. Specifically, they covered up some like fancy picture they had on the wall, completely covered, like top to bottom, side to side, the whole frame, everything,
Yeah.
with Post-it notes like this, just freaking out about where's Jenny. It's very strange,
That's
dude.
a little creepy.
Completely silent guest. Never a single message.
I got a quote from a host here.
Ghosted.
Dude.
I got a quote from a host here that says, "I don't need a lock on the front door or a deadbolt because I'm a black belt in karate."
Yeah.
And apparently the place smelled like cigarettes and cheap weed.
Good. Oh, good. Speaking of no locks and cigarettes, this host said they normally leave the key to their Airbnb in some small little lockbox, right? So they can just do a no contact situation, you know?
Yeah.
Guest gets there, gets code, opens the lockbox, gets the key in the house, out the house, and they check out. He said something about this guest just felt a little weird, so they were like, I'm going to do an in-person key exchange just to see the person, you know, let them know that I'm a human, you know?
Yeah.
That's fair. I get that, right?
Well, because
Little
people get
human
brave
interaction.
people get
Yeah.
brave over the internet. You
Right.
know what I mean?
I get that.
Yeah.
So they show up, said person met him. Pretty normal, a little bit strange. They said they were carrying, it was a female, she was carrying a set of golf clubs. Pretty normal person.
Okay.
She was like, "Yeah, these are my boyfriends."
Plural?
No,
golf
no,
clubs?
no. Like these golf clubs. These are my boyfriends.
The golf clubs are the boyfriends?
No, like they're her boyfriends. Like they're her
Yeah, that's what
boyfriend's
he
golf
said.
clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's in a relationship
Like explaining
with her
him.
golf
Yeah.
clubs.
Okay.
These are my boyfriends.
Long,
Oh,
awkward
sad.
silence. He golfs with them. It's like, that's weird. Okay. Whatever. Fairly normal person. Maybe just a
Golf
little
clubs
bit
smell
socially anxious. Hands the keys over. I don't know how long was the stay.
Guess she's getting down with a 9-iron, you think? She sounds looser than a 3
After that, Jesus. After that, no other contact, whatever. No complaints, nothing weird.
Yeah.
Pretty silent guest. It's all good. And go in for cleanup, find the door wide open. The front door.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, God.
Call the
So
SWAT team.
They walk in with the cleaning crew. Whole house smells like cigarette smoke. They walk into like the bedroom. They find cigarette burns in all the bed sheets all over the place. Cigarette butts everywhere. Find meth crystals laying on the end tables.
Well, don't say that. Just do it.
Actual meth crystals.
Who would leave meth crystals behind?
Yeah, they had to call the cops. And
They had to be
whatever.
far out to leave that shit behind.
Found the golf clubs. Still there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, whatever. Got the cops involved. Called Airbnb. They got reimbursed for cleaning. The host did, right, and filed complaints and whatever. Airbnb,
Yeah, dude. Once you
Airbnb
leave
takes care of
cranking
the
an Airbnb,
yeah.
the jig is
Airbnb
up.
and cops.
That's
Host,
irresponsible.
the host posts the golf clubs on Facebook. This isn't the end of the story.
Okay.
It gets a little strange after this. Only for the fact of they posted the golf clubs on like Craigslist or Marketplace or whatever for $300. So the bag looked brand new. Not even sure where they got it. Obviously, they stole it probably. Dude shows up to buy the golf clubs. Just a random guy. Okay. It's like, perfect. $300. Starts handing out the cash. And they pull one of the golf clubs out because they didn't take any of the clubs out for the pictures, I guess. It was just a picture of the bag with clubs in it.
Yeah.
Pull one of the golf clubs out. It's like, oh, it's a left-handed set, man. Sorry. And the dude's like, oh, I'm actually left-handed. Like, this person has just had weird interactions with people, I think.
That's strange.
Right? Because he drove all the way, I don't know how long. I think they said he drove like an hour or two to pick up these golf clubs for $300. And only now does this guy say he's left-handed when nobody knew that they were left-handed clubs.
That was their homie, dude. They didn't want Prince at the scene.
It's a little weird, dog.
I got one more thing on Airbnb.
Sure.
One time a German Shepherd busted through my window and attacked my puppy.
What?
Yeah, apparently there was a fucking lethal fucking German Shepherd in the dog run by the house that this couple and this with the puppy had rented from an Italian guy who spoke really broken English. And the German Shepherd saw the puppy and got so pissed it jumped through the fucking bedroom window.
Wow.
And attacked the puppy, and they had to fight it.
That seems like not a good time.
Yeah, dude.
That seems terrible.
Airbnb reimbursed them for their funds.
Yeah. They seem to be fairly good about that. For the most part.
Airbnb should get sued for that. So if I bring my dogs into an Airbnb and some fucking maniac busts through the bedroom window,
Brett, got a problem.
calling the Texas Hammer. I'm calling a lawyer, dude. There should not be dogs this mean at the place that I'm paying you to live
No.
for the next couple of days.
A little strange.
And that's all I got for Airbnbs. Anyway,
I got one
as a
more
band that might... Oh, go ahead.
I got one nice
You
story.
got one more?
Yeah, I can end this with a good story.
Yeah, dude. Something heartwarming.
Airbnb host, his friend's band comes to town, EDM band, I guess, and they're like, hey, man, can we rent your Airbnb from you? You can stay the night and just kind of relax, get us off the road a little bit. They're on tour.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So the host lets them stay, discounted rates, buddies, chilling. All
Homie hookup.
good, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hey, come
And-
on, dude.
And the band throws an EDM concert in the driveway of the Airbnb. Full green screen, lights, smoke machines, everything. And
Jesus Christ!
And the host, well, I don't know exactly where the neighborhood was or anything like that, but the host apparently lived across the street, and he said the show was awesome. So, thumbs up.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. I was a little concerned at the beginning of that one.
Dude. I was like, you threw a party of where? And why?
No.
For how much money?
No, I was a little concerned at the beginning of that one, but the host apparently was like, yeah, it was the sickest thing I've ever seen. I loved
That's
it.
pretty dope, dude.
It's like, hell yeah. My favorite.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, it's a good way to wrap that segment.
And I think that's a good way to wrap the fucking episode. Todd, you have anything from Entropic you want to say?
No, I think we've pretty much laid it out there.
Yeah, dude. Florida man out today.
Florida
fucking
man.
listen to that shit, dude. Listen to me right now.
Okay.
It starts from somewhere. It starts from somewhere. All of your favorite bands, all of your favorite artists, all of your favorite guitarists, musicians, pianists, celloists, everybody.
The fuck did you just say?
Penis. We don't have to play the same shit all the time. We can make our own stuff.
Yeah.
We can make our own stuff. We can make our own culture. We can make our own local scene.
Make some music. These guys did it, and they did it well.
And guess what? It fucking works very good. You heard the single again. We're going to close out with a single again because we like it so much.
Sick.
And I think that's it. Announcements? Brain? Any other announcements?
Nope. You know where to find us. Check us out on Facebook. Send us your fucking flyers. We'll try
For
and
the
boost
love
you
of
out
Christ. Send us your flyers.
That's it.
It is 15% off of marketing. We're going to take 75% off of your billable.
Oh, Jesus.
Gross. No, I'm just kidding.
Alrighty.
We'll do it for free.
And Entropic is available everywhere, all platforms.
For sure. They're breaking into
Give us
OKC.
a like, a follow. OKC, get ready.
Here we go. GP54 out.
Sky.